Hey, I'm your host, Scott Dr. Jigs Goldfine, with another special edition of Where'd You Get Your Funk From? This is the 7th Jam Fans Forum episode in which expert panelists provide their top picks in various funk music categories. This time around, we are taking on the hardcore jollies topic of the top 5 Parliament-Funkadelic songs of all time. Joining me are 3 esteemed jam fans. First, we welcome back music scholar, author, and History of Funk radio show host Rickey Vincent. Welcome, Rickey.
Well, what's up? What's up?
Hey, man. We also welcome accomplished musician and co-host of the Funkin Around podcast, Phil Jones, also known as PTFI, or Phil the Funky Instrumentalist.
Yes, sir. Hey, pleasure to be here, man. Thank you very much for having me.
Great to have you. And last but not least, we welcome a leading advocate and archivist honoring everything and everyone associated with the ParliaFunkadelicment Thang, P-Funk and George Clinton, Tim Kinley.
Welcome to all of you. Ever funkin' on.
I got to say, before we jump in, while new to jam fans, PTFI is featured on the Truth and Rhythm show, so make sure you check that out. Tim can be seen on an episode of Where'd You Get Your Funk From, so take a look at that. And Rickey has also been on Truth and Rhythm, so check out all those great interviews to learn more about all these great panelists who I handpicked for this episode due to their deep love and knowledge of P-Funk. Thank you, everybody, for participating, and thank you for keeping the funk alive.
Sparking it off, Scott.
So the criteria for this discussion is listed in the show description, so everyone should check that out if they're interested in that. Not going to bore you with it right now, so we can move on. Before we jump in, let's briefly touch on everybody's sort of mental process for making their picks before you talk about them. You know, for you to consider something in that pantheon, you know, what goes through your mind when you're making choices like that when it comes to Parliament-Funkadelic? And I'll let Tim go first.
I wouldn't be here without the hits. I didn't, it wasn't like I was at a friend's house and heard this stuff. I heard this on the radio. I used to sneak out around the corner from my mother's house, my parents' house. And, this was around February, March, 1978. And I remember the exact sequence of the tunes that my friends used to play at that time, because everybody was out there dancing to have a good time. The first song he played was Dance With Me by Peter Brown, an amazing dance classic. And then the second song was Flashlight. And that's where it starts. That song made me the funketeer that I am today. So that's my thought process, I guess. I guess it sums it up.
Fair enough. Sounds good, Tim. What about you, Phil?
Well, for this, it's always hard to pick favorites because I consider myself being a teenager on the mothership, right? We got deep ties to this stuff. But I'm going to have to roll with Tim on this. It was truly the hits. And I don't want to get into it and give my whole thing away, too, because I want to save a little bit for when we get rolling. But I'm definitely going to say the hits that were on the air at that time. And that was the key at that time, because it was some other stuff that I had to go back in time to really get even deeper into it.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
Phil, you mind if I ask you, how old are you?
37.
No. Yeah, sure. All right, brother, come on. Look at all our faces. None of us believe you.
Nobody believe that.
Okay.
Oh man. Okay. Since it's you, man, and I dig what you do so much, I'm going to reveal it. I'll be 62 in November.
There you go. I'm 61, so we're there.
Oh,
we're all gentlemen in our 60s.
We dipped our toe in the funk around the same time. Then.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Okay.
There you go.
Right.
Rickey, so what's in your thought process for coming up with picks like these?
I went through the exact same sequence of events. Some folks I knew kind of had this aura of something was stanking and I wanted some, but then the radio smacked me upside the head. Couple of tracks, maybe we'll get to them, maybe not. And it sent me down to the record store. And there was a thing called a record store back then. You could walk up into the record store and there's usually somebody, right in front, and you say, well, what's up with this track? What's up with that? And made my way to the P-Funk through the radio hits, and then you realize there's an adventure on every album, and you go through the credits, you go through the writing credits, you go through all whatever information is there, and you just start hunting, and you start discovering all these secrets that were previously hidden from us. And then we go to the next level. You go to the next level, and we start our own funk archaeology as we go. So I think unless you was there when I Want to Testify first came out, everybody kind of gets sprung on the funk, on the P, and then they make their way backwards to some or origin story type thing. And so I did exactly the same thing. I just happened to, kind of get smacked right when P-Funk was on the radio making the most racket, roughing up all their peers that were also on the radio. And so it just hit, and I went for it. I was in a couple other things, in 72, 73, 74, Kool and the Gang had funky stuff in Jungle Boogie, and Earth, Wind and Fire was trying to make a name for something bigger than just funky dance music. And everybody was in that game, and then P-Funk came and dominated. So I'm getting on this, I'm riding this horse. And
there you go.
Got sprung.
He said, "Let's take it to the stage," and it was on.
Right.
So was it like that for all of us? Like going backwards? Because when I went backwards, all of that stuff was in the cutout bin. I don't know if that was the same experience for everybody else.
Yeah,
but
it was.
I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can. You mean to tell me I can embrace this band at the price of $2.99 or $1.99? That's amazing. I love this. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has gone through that kind of process with their favorite bands. It's usually a case where even if you get the back catalog, it's still at a regular price. But all those records that we were trying to get were in $2.99 bin and the $1.99 bin. That just made it easier for me to embrace the P. And I don't know if it was it the same thing for all of you guys. I guess to varying degrees.
Absolutely, it was, man. Because, like I said, once we get into talking about these quote unquote hits, it made you want to dive back, especially when Funkadelic started to get their fame, right? So that was like, oh, wait a minute. You mean there's another side to this group that I'm listening to right now? Oh, all right. So I'm kind of giving away my picks. So let me.
I know we can't keep this a secret. I'm sure we're going to overlap.
Okay.
And see, for a quick minute, there's like a bit of indignation. So how come their story? Why is this stuff cheap when if you want some old Rolling Stones, it's at retail price? Why is this artificially devalued or dismissed? But then that goes away fast with the joy and exhilaration that you can find some unknown P-Funk that can transform you yet again as you encounter it on your own terms.
Yeah, Rick, a lot what may have had something to do with that too was during that time when we were saying, oh, those radio hits, you got to remember they were transferring from Westbound to Warner Brothers, so that made those cutouts available because now they just trying to get rid of some of that stuff. But we loved it because, man, it was funk on the couch for us, and we digging it.
Exactly, and a lot of people look at us as being really lucky because I bought my first copy of Maggot Brain for $7.
Okay,
try and get a dirty cracked copy of Maggot Brain for $7.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
yeah,
it's gonna be rough
at the very least.
Yes,
So all those things totally identify with, and was my reality in life too, living in the record stores and just going for those cutouts. I mean, added to the whole mystique and adventure of just falling into the whole P-Funk thing, and even though they would be in the cutout bins, Tim, a lot of times some of the albums were super hard to find. I mean, it took me years to track down every Funkadelic record, and I was looking
Right.
all the time. But as far as the picks we're doing today, I think we're definitely going to be pivoting a lot because I think we're all going to cover these hits. I know I have some on mine too. And, those hits, though, I mean, they were transformative. You'd hear it on the radio for the first time, typically, except for Flashlight, which I heard on the record before the radio, because Bop Gun was the first single. But you'd hear it coming out of your radio, and it would just blow you away. And was just like nothing else. Just however much you were into the funk, it was the ultimate of the funk on steroids to the max, So, man, those were the days. So
Exactly. And on top of that, I don't know about you, but I heard Flashlight on AM radio a lot more than I heard on FM radio. And that record still blew my mind, even with the limited fidelity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we're each going to do 5. And so we're going to have 20 total, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's going to be competitive, I know. So I'm always magnanimous. As a host, I go last. So I give you guys the advantage of picking the top ones first. And I'm sure we can all probably guess what will be the very first one. But go for it, Tim.
And this is Flashlight, the German pressing with the German picture sleeve, which is probably the best picture sleeve that's ever come out for this record.
Wow.
Nice.
With the Afro puffs. There we go.
Thank you. I love this. This is one of the few times when somebody outdid the Japanese. Because usually when they put out a picture sleeve, it's breathtaking. It's just wonderful. But this is the record that definitely, it not only changed my way of how I feel about music, but how I feel about life. Because it's the music that made me a deep thinker, a critical thinker, and a broad thinker all at the same time. And this is the record that started it. I never knew that one song could change a person's entire mindset. But if there was one, this was it. All right.
All right.
Here we go.
Some of us got a pivot already, right?
No, I don't think. I don't know if we can pivot.
So it's a pivot, man.
This was going to be number 1 for you too.
Come on now.
Come
on.
I don't think
we pivoting.
What a fantastic cover that is.
Oh man.
And the poster.
Oh yeah.
And the comic book.
Which is not in every pressing around the world. There are some pressings that don't have it. So we're very lucky.
And everything about it, Phil, we deal with Last Will out here, and as much as he's into the punk rock and he's a jazz guy, he keeps going on and on about how Flashlight is the most important record of all time.
Who is this?
This is one of my co-hosts, Last Will, big bushy dreaded guy.
Right.
And
cool Will.
He came in there at one time. He did a show and just played Flashlight like 16 times in a row.
Like they did in 1978.
It might have been 1988. It was on radio, and it was the 10th anniversary of the most important song of all time. And it smacked us around because it did so much conceptually, so much rhythmically, put that bass thing, that entity out there that everybody's been trying to figure out how to do ever since Bernie did it. So it turned everybody out and set in motion. Unfortunately, it set in motion a new way of doing music that people couldn't really reach because it set expectations to a new attention.
There you go.
That's the bittersweet part of Flashlight. That how you going to even ascend to that level? P-Funk could, nobody else could.
Bar went from here to here, like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Of course, who's gonna be able to approach that when you have a classically trained child prodigy in a funk band? What else is going to be the result?
And by then, they was wizards with technological innovations. It's one thing to have chord arrangements, but they was laying out those layers, stacking the bass keys and all that stuff. And then I found out while I was still loving it, George talked about the song. He said, because Bernie was loving Larry Graham and he was putting Larry Graham on that stuff. And I'm like, well, that's good to know out here in the Bay that, you know, that was part of the stew that went into making what Flashlight became. I'm like,
man, you know, you guys know, well, maybe Tim doesn't know, but we got a little show that's in progress right now called Funkin Around with PTFI and David Chaos. We did a whole hour and a half summit on the Funkadelic album, and we spent at least 20 minutes or more talking about just Flashlight. So from Bernie to Phelps on the guitar, to, I mean, we got so deep within that track, it was ridiculous. I mean, it's just layers upon layers upon layers of things that were taking place on that particular track, you know. And it's ironic that it was the last track of the whole saga, because you started off with Funkadelic, go through Sir Nose and the Wizard of Fine Ass, and you end up with Flashlight. And at the very end, with everybody saying, under the sun, under the sun, under the sun, under the sun. Man, it was just a cosmic jam. And it still is to this day. You put that on, even these young folks, those 37-year-olds that I was talking about earlier, you put them on, they going to still groove to that. Because it's that deep. That synthesizer, Moog bass had not been exploded like that. Now, Stevie, he had a little bit to do with it, you know, prior, but the way that they put that up front and right here in your face, you know, just all, you couldn't deny it. It opened up elements of your mind and just made you get on the one.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right about that.
Was any of us not planning on having that our first pick?
Well, it wasn't my first. Let me see what number 1, 2. So that would have been number 3. Am I doing this wrong? It's one of the picks. So it was definitely in the gumbo.
I've mentioned before, but in this context, I want to just get out there again. You know, the experience of hearing it for the first time in my bedroom on my stereo before it was ever on the radio, and just the feeling that overtook me immediately. I had been listening to music for 10 years, been into funk for like 5. By the time I heard that, it was unlike anything. And I had to just keep playing it over and over again. And I'm not the kind of guy usually to replay tracks. You know, I like to keep going. It was just completely mind-blowing.
Absolutely, man.
Well, let me ask you something. Scott, let me ask you, do you have brothers and sisters?
I have an older sister.
Was your older sister instrumental in you getting into this music, particularly Parliament, particularly P-Funk?
Not funk at all, just rock and, you know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, funk was purely on my own.
That's a great thing. See, that's another point that needs to be made. None of your older brothers, none of your siblings, I don't know if that was the case for everybody else, but I was the only one championing this music. I tormented my family with Flashlight completely. And I think that's a great thing. I was able to assess this music on my own terms, not by the terms that someone's like, so you got to hear this because this is bad. Right. I was able to do it on my own terms, and that's a great thing when you're able to do that on your own without older siblings trying to tell you which way to go on that. That's a good thing. I'm glad you experienced it like that.
I kind of graduated from Ohio Players to P-Funk. You know, that was like my progression. But
again, you do it again. I've heard it so many times. This was my favorite band until P-Funk came.
Right. Yeah, my brother used to bring home 45s of different bands and different acts, and I would pursue them on my own. He didn't waste his time trying to show me stuff, but I would dig in on my own. And then by the time P-Funk rolled around, I was making my own path.
Believe me, my family didn't know what to make of me with all that.
Exactly. That's your line in the sand. They don't understand that. The older generation They're going to understand Al Green. They're going to understand Barry White. They're not going to understand Parliament-Funkadelic.
And that's
And
fine.
that's great because you're the only one that can.
But let me just raise my hand for a minute.
Go ahead.
My mom's she was cool with Parliament, but when I been back in time with that Funkadelic stuff, turn it down, put some headphones on, or just stop playing it. Cause man, it takes a special person to understand that old school Funkadelic
That's
stuff.
right.
Man.
It takes a special level of maturity to be able to wrap your head around what Funkadelic represents.
Yeah,
Parliament is a lot easier.
right.
Funkadelic, oh no, that's grown music. That ain't for us kids.
And until later, till another one of our picks, I'm sure that's going to pop up, kind of hit the scene. But we'll wait.
Yes, exactly. I know what you're talking about.
We got to keep it moving. So
Okay.
I apologize if I'm rude. I ever cut you guys off, but we'll be here all night. So I got to keep it moving. With that, Phil, give us your first pick.
Okay. First pick was da 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 da. Bada, of course.
That's it.
Do 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 do. And the reason why
What
this
track?
the first pick, first track, definitely tear the roof off the sucker, tear the roof off the mother sucker. That one. When I heard that song, man, I didn't know what was happening. Very young, but all I know is that the kick, the vocalization that was happening, it was just like nothing else I had heard. Now, mind you, I hadn't really been listening to a lot of music yet. I was all the way up until maybe 73, 74. I was listening to the Oakland A's baseball games on a little transistor radio. So that was kind of my only radio get down I was getting. But once this came along and I heard Ray doing his thing at the beginning, that was it for me. The number one pick of all time. Even though Flashlight has a special place in my heart, that as an overall album, that's one of my favorites. But for the singles, definitely Tear the Roof Off.
And that single had two names because on the 45, it was We Want the Funk, parentheses, Tear the Roof Off the Sucker. And on the album, it was Tear the Roof Off the Sucker, parentheses, We Want the Funk. And
well, you know why, Rick, right? You know why? Because on the 45, and I was mad because I had bought the 45. It starts out, but we got a real. I'm like, wait a minute.
Ray?
Where's Ray? What's going on here? So yeah, but I guess they had to do the edits to make it radio friendly and shorter. But man, they cut out to me the funkiest part, one of the funkiest part of that song. But anyway, that was why you had a flip flop.
You're right. Yeah.
And that, I have to say, that would have been my one if well, I don't know, but y'all did the two. But
y'all did the two.
I remember following, you did the top two for me.
Okay.
I was studying the funk records by then, and another one would come out. Scott, you mentioned Ohio Players, and there'd be all these layers and all these deep concepts and all these grooves, and they kept building and building from the James Brown kind of skeletal form of funk, and they would fill it out more. And the soul arrangers like Curtis Mayfield, and people would layer this stuff, and I felt like the music was getting more and more complex and more raw at the same time. And by the time you got to Tear the Roof Off the Sucker, I thought that was the end of the progression there. It's not going to get any more complex and any more raw at the same time. It can get complex, yeah, and it can stay raw, but they did both. And I said, that's the ultimate. You can't go beyond this. And they did on that album, but to me, I was like, this is as far as you're gonna go. And in a sense, the only next phase was to go into the technological direction, which is where Flashlight went. But at the time, I just thought this is the progression that everybody was heading towards and wasn't capable of. P-Funk was capable of, and that's what turned me out.
And
absolutely.
All you need to do is just get some headphones and listen to Ted Roof Off the Sucker through headphones, and then wait for Ray Davis, not just the opening, but the singing that he does all through that song. Wait, just listen to what he does and watch your inside shatter because of it. What he does on vocally on Ted Roof Off the Sucker, not just the intro, but the whole song. I didn't realize it until I listened to it, because that's a song you want to hear out in the open in the atmosphere. But when you listen to it on headphones, particularly the version that is on Parliament's Greatest Hits that came out in 1984, because Greatest Hits records are always mixed a lot better than the original album that they came from. Listen to Ted Roof Off the Sucker on that CD, and you're going to hear Ray Davis it's going to make you almost cry what he does.
Oh man,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Ray fan, man. So yeah, to hear him out in the mix even better than what was on the original, I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, I would. It would be. I'm glad to have been to his funeral. That was just. That was amazing.
We still discovering things. I remember when Jerome got up in front, the first one at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. My name is Jerome Braley, author of Tear the Roof Off the Sucker. I was like, wait, what? That's not Clinton Collins Worrell? Wait a minute. And so I went back, and he wrote it was a whole arrangement. You can just, Phil, you get the stacks all the time. You can just clean it up and just play the Jerome Braley drum track.
Oh, believe me, I have. What are you talking about?
All the way through.
I did that a whole bunch of times, man. That's one of the baddest drum tracks ever recorded to me. I mean, I know we got, what the funky drummer, but that's another whole topic too. But man, for that one, and the rumor is, and y'all historians correct me, he was going for trying to get on what was that Fame, going after the David Bowie style.
Right,
is there any truth in rhythm to that, y'all?
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard that story too.
Okay.
Just the vocal arrangements and the choir vocals on that record were just revolutionary, I think. And Bernie's keyboard work too. We didn't mention that. Just unbelievable.
Man, yeah.
Listen to that on headphones. Really had your mind blown.
Yeah. Subtle and powerful at the same time. Yeah.
I used to stay up late waiting for KDIA to play it again, the AM radio station out here, 1310, because I couldn't understand what that rhythm guitar, somebody was holding it down. Eventually, they said it was Mike Hampton doing that, just holding down that rhythm lock, which you don't even know until you hunt for it. And you're like, oh, snap, this is the metronome they're working from.
Yeah, that was one of the best arranged songs out at the time. It was battling the disco, we was up against that, but to keep it funky in the pocket like that for those 5 or 6 minutes, man, it was just magic. It was from beginning to end.
Great moving parts. I remember working with this DJ, and he put it on there, and I was getting all ready for the big sound and all the different breaks, and he just broke into something different after 2 minutes. I'm like, can't do that. Don't you know it gets to the Bernie part, and they chant and they boom boom, and then Jerome Braley rolls away. Come on. So the hip hop thing, they don't understand the way a funk record can evolve and cook and grow.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, we're off to a pretty hot start here. Ricky, what do you got?
The only record that I felt could outdo Flashlight was what they followed with on that album release in late 1978. No hype, no pre-promotion. I walked by it at the record store, and it was white album with a baby blue little sticker that said this long word, Psycho Alpha Disco Beta Bio Aqua Dulup. I'm like, wait, guys, wait, that's not the intergalactic funk thing anymore. And it was a complete left turn for me. Thank you, Phil. And just
see, I got mine turned this. Oh, he's got the female Aqua Boogie 45.
Yes. Nothing like dolphins with tits, right? Wow.
Yeah, that is a collector's item right there.
You're holding your collector's item too, bro. I like that.
And it turned me out because it used that same synthesizer gnarliness, but went in a whole other direction. It had and then all the little they said we're gonna go even more complicated and more complex. It's got to be the most complex #1 R&B hit of all time, because you got to keep it, you got to rip the groove after a while. There you go with the 12-inch. And the 12-inch was a relief because then you could actually listen to some of the extra layers because there was many going in.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Ricky, let me ask you something.
So Aqua Boogie.
Let me ask you something, Ricky. Did the Motor Booty Affair come to where you lived at the time?
No, we did not get the live tour of that.
You had to go down to the Funk Festival down in LA for that one, brother.
Wow. See, the thing is, when you hear that song live, like the first time I ever heard the live version of Aqua Boogie, I didn't know it was them. I didn't know they were playing it until it got, because when you hear the live version, you don't hear any keyboards. It's just Skeet doing do 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 do, But in the record, it's like and at first I was like, what is this? And then I got, this is Aqua Boogie. So I wonder if anybody had that same experience when they heard it live the first time.
I don't know. This is another syndrome of what the industry was like back then, because people were making records that pretty much could not be replicated in the live experience. And you'd have to come up with some tricks and surprises and or turn it into something there's a whole other beast. So it is what it is live, and it's a different thing. So yeah. And so the few times I've heard him do Aqua Boogie, because Danny brought that out. I think they played it the last tour they did. And he was all happy. Yeah, we're gonna play Aqua Boogie, and we're gonna play. And they did play some stuff we hadn't heard in a while. But I'm like, Danny, you need about 3 more keyboardists to kind of put together all the different counterpoints and mid ranges and acoustic and electronics and all of that. But at that moment, P-Funk could do it.
Yeah. Going back to what I think you was asking about the live versus the recorded, and Skeet did a phenomenal job of being able to get in between the cracks in the tracks in the notes. But if we let's just take it back just a second. When that 12-inch came out and we was able to hear all of the layerings that was underneath all those crazy vocals that was on top, I lost my mind, man. Because right around that time, we kind of twisted and the axis of the funk changed. We had Junie Morrison kind of joined the mothership around that time, y'all. And I know all you funk history folks know that. So I don't know if that was Junie playing the keyboard or if it was Bernie or both of all of the above. But man, because Flashlight was kind of hitting that syncopation, coming up and down. But when they started doing that Aqua Boogie, that man, it sounded like a dump truck going down the street. It was so deep and so solid, you didn't know what was going to hit you. So anyway, live version, another whole different beast. That 12-inch that we held up, man, changed the way a lot of folks started doing 12 inches and long versions and all of this other stuff that was to come, because they figured out, man, can we just take it back to the beginning and put the instrumental and put it together so we can hear what y'all doing underneath? Exactly. Magic, man. Genius.
And I bet you, no matter how much your mind was blown when you heard that 12-inch, I'd be willing to bet that your mind was blown even more when you heard the CD version with those extra minutes tacked to the end of it. I lost my mind. Bernie doing I was like, no.
Come on, no, he died playing Barry does. It was like, what's going on here? They were just letting the track was just stretching out, going to the end. That was beautiful. I loved when they did that, man.
Okay.
Yes.
Why did they hide that from us in the past? Who were they thinking? what are they thinking of?
Well, you know, it was only so much they could fit back in those days on one side of a record versus another side of a record. You know, it ain't like they didn't have 74 minutes like that you got now on CD. It was all about time. Some stuff had to get cut.
Yeah, pretty much. And plus, we had it in CD quality, which
Oh,
that just blew our minds completely. You know?
loved it.
You know, I'm
Love
at
it.
the point. Tim, I'm sure you got those Japanese ones where
Ooh.
they're shrunk down to be like imitation of the
Yeah. Oh, I love those.
like,
Oh, the Japanese ain't no joke.
up
Wait a minute. Wait.
the sound, so the highs are way high, and you can actually hear everything the guy's saying on
There's the CD version.
Rumpelstiltskin when he's kind of calling in
There you
from
go.
Hey.
from underwater and stuff.
Hey, but Scott, I think they talking about that one that only rich folks can afford. The one. Wait a minute, cause looked at how much they was charging for that thing, man, and I was like, oh
They were
my!
about $40 or $50 each.
This
I was like,
Motor
wow.
the Motor Booty mix was worth it because it opened up even further
know.
all the different layers you
I
could.
know, man, but good
Phil,
good God.
Phil, I'm driving a 2008 Caddy, so no, I am not. I ain't
I'm
got
just
no
saying,
spot.
man. But y'all, man, that thing is out of print now. I'm sure, right? You can't.
They've been out of print, but
Yeah. See,
those are
so it's probably
discogs
even
and,
triple now.
save your
Yeah.
lunch money and, work on
Or wait till tax
or
time.
here.
Well, some of us might owe, so I'm gonna get off this train right here. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll live vicariously through y'all. Y'all got it, cool. Okay.
That's right, because we're gonna scan it. And
That's-
upload it. Okay, I get it.
Just
No,
so
but
many
those are the ones you want to
versions.
actually have, though, man, in your
Of
hand.
course.
See, we're getting off track, but that's the difference from streaming stuff and actually,
Yeah.
Yes.
holding it in your hand and doing this, man. That's another lost art that can do another whole show.
No one
on.
supports that more than P-Funk with the packages they had and the liner notes
Oh,
and the
man.
Pedro Bell
Thank
art.
you.
And I mean, God.
Right.
But-
Exactly. And that's a lot. That's a thing that people don't understand. A lot of these Funketeers in other countries didn't get the Motor Booty Affair package that we got. The Japanese, the Motor Booty Affair, single sleeve. German,
Really?
yeah, single sleeve.
Wow.
UK opens up with a gatefold, but none of those the little post-it, the little stand-ups, those are not there. That's why everybody wants an American copy of the Motor Booty Affair with everything that came with it, because we're the only ones that have that packaging. That was the one time when the Americans outdid the Japanese.
Rick, is that the little small CD that has everything that the record had?
It has everything that the record had.
Oh, you got that good. Okay.
And then then the CD instead of the vinyl.
Oh, okay. You got because mine has the one with George wearing the Dolphins on the CD.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You know what? Because you had a separate CDs, and then you had what they call the Casablanca box that has all the albums in one box, and it's all an exact replica of the album of the original album release.
Nice.
So, but in terms of Motor Booty Affair, George's on the Dolphins on the CD.
I'm going to go with my first pick. Ricky, obviously an awesome one. So we got Aqua Boogie, Flashlight, and Tear the Roof Off out of the way. So to complete the foursome for our first round, I'm going to go with the track that was the first one that put Funkadelic on the map big time. The big Funkadelic hit, their first one, their second record on Warner Brothers. They decided to get Junie involved and, go in a different direction that was a little closer to Parliament in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
But, One Nation Under a Groove.
Yeah, man.
The all-time classic.
Whoops.
It's one album plus a 45 sort of that's like half a record. And One Nation let it off with incredible percussion to go with that groove. And the banjo just giving it that extra little something, And of course the vocals, the message, fantastic message. And it kind of was like a little bit of like Flashlight, but different and still its own thing. Somehow it kind of still, to me, had that similar kind of vibe to Flashlight, but in the Funkadelic way. So I couldn't imagine it ever being better. We're talking about different versions until the 12-inch came out.
Oof.
Oh, yes.
The 12-inch, 11 and a half minutes of One Nation Under a Groove Bliss that also has Hampton doing his guitar solo.
Up top.
And the sound on this is so phenomenal because the grooves are spread out. And I mean, you can hear that deeper bass and the percussion even that much clearer. And his guitar just ripping through like crazy. And if that wasn't enough, instrumental on the backside with guitar wailing through the whole thing.
Sometimes two guitars, you can hear them.
Unreal, man. One Nation, Under a Groove. Getting down just for the funk of it. I mean, how can you top that?
We're going to try, but
That would be any other band's defining anthem moment, right?
Yes.
Any other band, that would be it. And
right.
But there are shows where we don't even hear that song. That's crazy.
How many albums did how many albums did the P-Funk organization release in that year? 6. That's an album every other month.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Also 78.
Wow.
Yeah, same year as
78 was
Motor
just
Booty
a
Affair.
monster of a year for funk. It hadn't
was
peaked
a year
out
for
yet.
black music, I think.
It was just exploding on all different levels at that time. 78, it was just like, take this, take that. It was just coming at you left and right.
And they
They didn't give you time.
From the blog.
I'm sorry? What you say, Ricky?
I was just saying they knew the challenge to rescue dance music from the blahs. That was what they were doing.
Yep.
Before they even put it on their next record. But it was like, oh wait, you challenge it? Wait, that's the shit? Oh, hell no. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna see them being motivated.
See, this is where my ignorance was, because I didn't see P-Funk live at that time yet. So when One Nation dropped, I thought Funkadelic was just a band that George was producing. I didn't know that it was
What?
just I didn't know
What?
that Funkadelic in Parliament, because Parliament and Funkadelic names were never on the same record. So I never made the connection between Parliament and Funkadelic until some guy at a record store looked at me like I was a dumbass and said, "Yo, Parliament, Funkadelic, same band." Okay, thank you for explaining this complex operation to me in such a succinct way.
I understand. See,
I am now.
See, but at that time though, y'all, and correct me if I'm wrong, Funkadelic hadn't had a multi-platinum album yet. This was the one for Funkadelic, not Parliament, not nobody else, but Funkadelic. So for that right there, that whole sound, and it's been so many other groups that have tried to duplicate it and replicate it and take bits and pieces from it, but that is the source right there, where you got a grooving bass line, a banjo, and some screaming lead guitars, and it made sense. It made sense. It just was so far out there that it all came together to, hey, it's time for Funkadelic to have a hit, y'all. Put their heads together, because that could have easily been on a Parliament album. I mean, if you think about it, the way it sounds, oh yeah, the 45, y'all had that one too back in the day. Oh okay, yes.
With the picture sleeve?
See, I brought it home. I brought it home and played it, and I'm like, well, where's the Funkadelic part come in? Where is the? I was waiting for the grinding stuff, because the only Funkadelic I had ever heard on the radio before that was the local radio station played "Come Around the Mountain" one time off
really
for Jollies.
Wow.
Like, this don't sound like anything else on KDIA radio. And they tried to say, they deadpanned it. This is the latest from the band Funkadelic, and boom, boom, boom. And it didn't fit, right? It didn't fit the format. But once you get with Pete, you're like, okay, that's good, strong, staple of the sound. Come Around the Mountain. But at the time, it was a shock. So when I brought home that 45 of One Nation, I was like, well, how are they going to make this national anthem sound? What they going to do? And then doom, 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 doom. I was like, wait, what? And then when I heard Gary singing, I was like, oh snap, they taking it to a whole other level. They taking it to a whole other place. and they did. They took me with. They took me, but I was not programmed for this at that time.
Hey Tim, on that 45,
Yes.
on part 2, does it start with the do ya do, like kind of
Yes.
like it? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. See, man, I still got a couple of brain cells popped up there because I thought it did that, but I wasn't for sure.
And was really nice about it. This record came out exactly at the time that Warner Brothers was going through a label change, a label design change. They were going from this design to the vanilla color label.
Yeah, the Burbank area.
Yes.
Looking
And
thing.
That's
Yeah.
one Grand Central Station, and then would be on that one in the green. And
yeah, exactly.
Like
and I think the thing with One Nation is, what was that? I think it was Blues and Soul asked George, why did you give Funkadelic One Nation as opposed to Parliament?
Mm-hmm.
And George said, because if Funkadelic has one hit, it means more than if Parliament has 10 hits. Because Funkadelic is such a movement that if they get a hit, it's going to benefit everybody.
Wow.
That's people were not thinking like that.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know of any other artist at that time that was thinking in that way. That's just ridiculous. To be able to articulate that kind of philosophy, I love that.
And that's such a forward thinking. Just
yes,
so let me get them through the door, because then I know everybody else can kind of come on in, because Parliament had already had some hits, right, and was rolling, but was very clean about it. Comparatively speaking. But they were the same, but alter ego-ness was kicking in, right? So you had your Parliament, you had your Funkadelic, and that was the chance for Funkadelic to free your mind. And you know what to follow, right?
Yes.
All right, we got to follow it around 2.
Okay.
So I will say that was the first Funkadelic album I ever bought when it first came out. That was like I had finally caught up, and when One Nation came, I was ready at the store when it came out. All the other stuff I kind of had to get after the fact, but yeah. So
that's true. That's very true.
Yes.
Round 2, Mr. Kinley, what do you got for us?
We did. All right, so we did Flashlight, Ted Roof Off, One Nation. What else did we do? Aggle Boogie. Okay. All right. Well, then I gotta obviously follow it up with operatic party music. All right, here we go. Not just Knee Deep.
Round and around.
That's okay. The third week of August, 1979. I'm in Triborough Record Store in Jamaica, Queens. I'm looking through the Funkadelic section, as I always do, because I just think of, hey, well, maybe there's an old Funkadelic single in the stack that I don't have that I should get. And lo and behold, and here was the new single. And I didn't even want to play it in the store, because they had a turntable in the store, and I could have played it then. I was like, no, I'm going to wait till I get home, and then I'm going to play it. And needless to say, I'm glad I waited, because when I heard this right out of the gate, I knew this was going to be the #1 record at least within the next couple of weeks. I knew that this was going to be like another huge hit. So much so that I took this record to at least 3 of my friends' houses. All of them had turntables. They all played it, and it's like, this is the jam. They all ended up scrounging around a cassette and recording.
I want that.
I knew that this was going to be a monster hit, and that's exactly what it was. And for it to be a monster hit, and Ricky knows this very well, because we've talked. I'm sure we talked about this online and wherever else. For it to be a monster hit in New York, this record came with the goods. I know, because I'm going to assume, like, Ricky you were living in Oakland at the time that this record was dropped, correct?
Yes.
No, I'm sure, and so I'm sure the minute it dropped, the minute people heard about this record, it was a monster hit.
It was a monster hit, and I remember it went 15 minutes, and I'm like, why are you cutting it out? Wait, where's 15 more minutes of this damn thing? So it turned me out when I first heard that. I was like, you can't allow it to. Wait, more. Well, and Felipe Soul Win doing all that stuff he did, just if it was more funkadelic-ish, even though it was just as clean as One Nation, it set in motion, what I thought funkadelic could be for the rest of the decade, for the next decade. That's what I was hoping it would become, because it was all of that. And
yeah, I love that you didn't have to go or wait for a 12-inch to come out, because it was 15 minutes already. I was
That's
like,
right.
I'm like, it ain't gonna be no 12-inch to this song right here, because
No.
it's long. I mean, because I kind of dabbled in DJing a little bit. I remember having to put that one on sometimes and go take care of some facilities, while it's playing, because it was that long
Yes.
of a song, right? But man, when I first heard that thing, I was like, what is it? Because it was, like you said, Rick, it was funkadelic, but it was still the Parliament operatic vocals that Tim was talking about, and the way that it was all arranged by Mr. Junie, the way he arranged this thing, because it was supposed to have been recorded, or the original thing was in, I believe, 3/4 time.
Yes.
And Junie said it can be arranged, man, and lo and behold, another platinum song by Funkadelic
That's
hitting the
it.
scene.
That's like club funkadelic.
Club Funkadelic, because I remember being at the little discos or whatever they would have back then. That and what is the other group? Rapper's Delight. The first rap stuff was starting to hit then, and they would be going back and forth with those two songs, man, because they was long and they was getting it on.
When I asked my sister, I said, I gave my sister $5. I said, if you can go to the record store, go get records or go get Rapper's Delight. However, if the new Funkadelic album is out, don't even look into the direction of Rapper's Delight. You get that record and you bring it home. And sure enough, I gave it to her on the exact same day that the record was released, September 21st, 1979. I couldn't have been any happier.
Wow.
Also, how cool was the packaging and artwork of that record, Uncle Jam? I mean, just everything was perfect.
Even with Warner Brothers interference, they still came out with a record that showcased funk righteousness. No question about it.
Most definitely. DM Jones was all in that concept, and he got George to pose in the rattan chair, which is kind of the Huey Newton of the funk and all that. And they had they knew what the P-Funk Nation was about. And
exactly. Ricky, confirm this for me, please. Somebody said on social media, like all 100 things they say, that that the Black Panthers, that some remnants of the Black Panthers were not happy that George did that.
I have yet to find one that said what was he thinking, or what were they doing, and that didn't represent us. So out here, I didn't hear that. Now, there might have been folks in New York, there might have been ideologues somewhere else that would have tried to dismiss it, but they were, in general, if you're going to get them to cross up, because those guys were always, all the movement guys were backstage knocking on the door of James Brown, knocking on the door of Sly Stone, knocking on the door, hey, give us some play, give us some represent, whatever, however they were taking it. And I remember Eddie Kendricks did My People Hold On, and he was in a chair. It wasn't a big chair, but it was just a more narrow looking chair. He was going there. And when people went there, that meant folks is gonna start to pay attention again to what the Panthers' ideas were. So I never heard anybody call that out and say that was anything other than respect or just a lot of fun.
I respect your comment a lot more than I respect the comments.
I took it as more of a tribute than any. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. DM's idea when I talked to him about it. He said this is something I wanted to do. I don't know where the beginning and the end of that was. George might have said, they told us we can't put Pedro's shit on the front, so come and let's do a picture. I don't know how that whole process went, but DM made a big deal of setting it all up the way he wanted.
Yeah, there's a Rick. You guys, it's a video that's out there floating with DM Jones getting really deep about that entire subject. So just seek out, just type his name in, and you'll hear what Uncle Jam really wanted to call himself, and that was going to be the controversy of what he was going to try to call himself versus Uncle Jam, and I didn't know that, and that's coming from DM himself. So yeah, just search it out, type it in, try to hear it from the horse's mouth, y'all.
There you go.
So it's also interesting, on that cover, for those that hadn't put the Parliament-Funkadelic together yet, the clues of George with the bop gun and the flashlight,
Yes.
on the cover.
Yes, exactly.
And the
that,
names of fans around the border of the back cover. Those are people who submitted the fan material and fees, I guess, and they didn't get it, so they wrote the name. And so there's some Funketeers up in there. If you look carefully, Africa Bambaata's name is on there.
Yeah.
Card carrying Funketeer at that point.
I'm gonna share something here I've never said before, and maybe it'll make me seem uncool. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
But a true confession is that as much as I love Not Just Knee Deep, definitely one of my favorites of all time, one thing that kind of just stuck in my craw a little bit about it was the Ants in My Pants and I Gotta Dance.
Yeah.
Because at the time, it seemed cliche and tired to me. And I was like, okay, James Brown did that a long time ago. This is Funkadelic. This is Parliament. This is mine now. And I was just like, a little bit like, usually the lyrics don't, I'm all about the music mostly, but that just one lyric just gave me a little bit of pause. And partly because of that, I couldn't quite love it as much as One Nation, but that was me.
Do you feel the same way now?
Not as much, but
okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't that mostly Felipe Wins?
Yes.
Yeah, that was Felipe Scat doing his thing, and it sounds like that was almost improvised. I don't know, it wasn't in the session with him, but that's what came out. But it just sounded like while he was doing it, it came organically. I don't see it as a knock on James Brown or anybody. It just because it after he did his little scat, and it always led up to that breakdown.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great.
It's like kind of building up, and then it was a release. That's kind of the way I rolled with that.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm curious if anyone else, was into it at the time and felt that way. So
no, I loved it.
The James Brown chant, right? Because if you hear any noise, it's me and the boy. That was something James had said on Get It Together way back in.
Bits and pieces.
They bringing back that was they had permission in a weird sense to reference JB as they went.
All right.
I guess it's kind of a tribute to the way that George can put anybody in that universe and they'll just become a part of the universe.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody would say, well, Felipe, when I don't know if his presence is questionable. No, he gave up. He gave up the funk in his own inimitable way.
So
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Phil, number 2, man.
Oh man, I gotta come with a number 2 after that.
Okay.
Come on.
Round and round again.
I'm all out of funk, man. Well, okay, I'm gonna pivot on y'all then. If that's the case, I'm going to say Theme from the Black Hole.
Ha!
Here's a toast to the boogie. Just when you thought funk had played out, or it was starting to wane and getting so silly that you couldn't take it any sillier, here's a toast to the boogie. Now, they kind of faked me out with that first single off of there. I don't want to get with Party People. I was like, did we lose the battle against disco or what? But anyway, no, but man, that thing from the Black Hole, it's being sampled to this day. It's just undeniable groove. Still was able to rock the dance floor after got past that opening part, and then my name is the one, but some people call me the funk. I mean,
and they put their nose through some drama, and And if any song could have really used an animated video at that point, it would have been that one.
Yeah, because this was the tale that he wins in the end, as he says throughout the record, all over and over again, to let you know, well, you're going down this road, Sir Nose is gonna win. But yeah, it's some undeniable tracks on that album. But for me, that one right there, and then if I'm not mistaken, after the explosion, doesn't it go into the Big Bang Theory?
On the 12-inch.
Okay. That's the 12-inch. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh, maybe I'm getting it mixed up with May We Bang.
Yeah, Maybe Bang You is right after.
Yeah. But on that 12, that pretty odd 12-inch, I was hoping that they was gonna stretch out that but nah, it didn't. It went into another whole song, so that kind of messed me up a little bit too. But there you go. Yes. I digress.
I felt like that one, because it was like 4 to 5 minutes total.
Yeah.
That they kind of compressed all of that intense funk into just that amount of time. I mean, there's so many things crammed in there.
If they would have stretched that out, and I think, Rick, you got a version from Paris or somebody that did some type of stretching out of that part that we're talking about.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if that would have been an official release of a long version of that.
See, I've always felt like Glory Hella Stupid. They were so comfortable where they were. They said, well, let's just get in here and bullshit for a while and make and put some on the track for them and it's like every time I hear a band that sort of they made their hits and they're just sort of kicking it on a later release, that's like, oh, that's their Glory Hella Stupid period. Oh, somebody, when the Ohio Players did Angel, that was just a freestyle album. They was like, let's just vibe, because they had done everything. And that's, to me, what Glory Hella Stupid was. And I think George just said, oh, yeah, by the way, we better mix down a radio hit for these. So boom, they cropped what they had done for Theme from the Black Hole, probably half an hour long jam lying in a tape somewhere.
I would love to hear that.
So would I.
Stuff together.
Jeez, man.
I say this with a whole bunch of respect for all of you. Y'all are a bunch of spoiled ass funketeers, because you're talking about when you heard it on the radio. Well, New York never played that song. They never touched it. Wow. In fact, the only song that they ever got any airplay in New York from that album was Big Bang Theory, and that was only because of Guy Brody on WKTU, who was the resident funketeer there, and he ran that to the ground, which I love that he did that. Rest in peace, Guy Brody. But what was really deep was that I was at a friend's house, and Frankie Crocker, the chief rocker, once played the title cut, Glory Hella Stupid, and it wasn't a single. It wasn't a single. It wasn't something they were trying to promote or anything. He just played it, and I was like, "Oh, this album's gonna be ridiculous." So, but yeah, y'all guys got Theme from the Black Hole more than you ever probably expected, whereas New York didn't get it at all. Not one station played that song.
Man, that's crazy, because that was the cut in the Bay when it was out. That
LA
was
too. Yeah.
Oh, see, well, there you go. That was like, oh man, this is it. This is the follow-up, y'all. We've been waiting for. Here we go.
See, that's the thing. I always wondered, what would happen if I would have been reared in Oakland or in LA or in DC or even Newark, New Jersey.
Man, we would have met a long time ago. That's
right. We probably would have been doing radio shows together. I know that.
I thought you were going to say that they were out party people there.
Sorry?
I thought you were going to say they were out party people in New York.
Oh, Lord, no.
See, come on now.
Oh, God. The least said about that record, the better.
Everyone kind of on the same page that this was a Rick James thing.
What? Rick James?
What, that on the cover?
That was kind of, character.
I heard something kind of different, and I don't think I can say it publicly. So,
see, and I always thought it was just George getting taken over by Sir Nose. That was.
So did I. Yeah. Somebody in the band told me that who it was, and I don't want to put it out there now. Yeah. So, I'll
we understand.
Send it through Messenger.
Okay.
You know,
He was enlightened. Okay. Gee.
All right.
He was owning
Yeah.
their planned obsolescence. He talked about you're only going to get 3 years in the game like that on top. So he was making fun of that. And he was shifting over to the Funkadelic stuff anyway for the radio.
All right, Rick. What do you got for your second one?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with "Free Your Mind and Your Ass Will Follow." When I was a kid, I made my own top 5 P-Funk of all time type of stuff, and the songs we've talked about are already there. And Maggot Brain was on there, was on my list. And I think we've all gone around in circles with this. It's like we love Maggot Brain. It's who we are. I'm the Huru Maggot. We're all Maggot Brains, but that's not really a funk track. It's
Right.
it's a other thing. Yeah. And so it became I had to set that aside for this particular project. And my first the Funkadelic that turned me out was the 10-minute rendering of the title song here. And it was a long time before I kind of really paid attention to the credits and realized with all the grinding grooves and Billy bass and Tal and Eddie and Bernie all over it and Tiki on the. I thought, well, it must be a collaboration with the vocalists that were there, but that was those same guys doing all that free form. What time is this? I can't feel myself. What is this? And for your mind and your ass will fire. And they were just freestyling this thing like our friend Dr. Illenstein would do when we get a groove going, right? And he would just be freestyling, just stream of consciousness stank out of his head. And it was Free Your Mind that was really the blueprint for doing that. First album had some great tripped out stuff, but this one had the sort of this inspired vocal thing going, but everything was so just stewed together. You couldn't say, well, the vocals are this and the groove is that. It's its own entity. All 10 minutes of Free Your Mind and Your Ass Will Follow. If you're ready for it, I mean, it's up there with Jimmy and the Band of Gypsies, 13 minutes of Machine Gun and stuff like that. So it's just up there with Brian it's like most of the time you don't even have to go with your heavy hitters to play some Funkadelic to blow people away. You don't even have to. You can give them something on second or third level of Funkadelic, but then when it's time, this one is what I consider the turnout track.
So, hey, Rick, did you have to go back to get to that, or did you experience it when it was first released?
I had no idea it existed.
Oh, okay.
I'm still, even I Want to Know If It's Good to You bugged me out when I first heard it. I was like, wait, that's a lot. You're allowed to play that on the radio and, stuff like that. That's when we worked on that track where Cornel West talks about, I want to know if it's good to you. But
that turned him out. Yeah.
But that made radio, I guess, wherever he was at that time. And so, but then, that's their opening cut. That's really, I suspect, maybe Bernie's on the first album, but credits don't show that. I think this is really Bernie's entree. And what does he do? As he starts out, he elevates the P to this whole other level of stank. And I'm a big fan of Tal Ross making that album. Those first 3 records to me are the scariest Funkadelic records. It's frightening.
Oh yeah.
And I think Tal has an ingredient in there because he's not on any of the other ones. So I just when it's time. But like I said, you can just most of the time you can give people a short version of something else, and that'll turn them out. At this point, they're not even ready for the top shelf.
It is a kind of a we call like a, I don't want to say a bridge too far, but if you already discovered them through the hits, and then you play this record, it's going to take you a while. It'll take you a while to wrap your head around this, because it's one thing that, to rock a party with Flashlight and then hear, by the way, I've heard the craziest live version of Free Your Mind I've ever heard was at the 930 Club in DC. And oh my God, it was Skeet on the bass, because the on the record it's like dum, 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 but with Skeet he was like
killing the bass,
and then put Prelude on top of that.
Oh, that's the shit.
I'm like,
that's another element.
Only happened at the 930 Club. Nowhere else but the 930 Club.
That's a sweet one.
What year about was that, Tim?
1998.
See, now I was lucky enough to see the original Mothership Land back in Taking Funk to Heaven in '77, right when they was finishing it. And so they are weld or a machine, but they was throwing out chants like "Free your mind, your ass will follow." Ish, god dang, get off your ass and I mean, all of these swear words at the time for my young brain. So that's what made me go back. Like I said, I had to go back because I'm just there. I want to see the Mothership. I want to ride and see Dr. Funkenstein. I didn't know nothing about what Rick just threw up on the screen. So, but this thing, and I'll tell you a little history. Y'all, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong. Some of the engineers didn't even want to get down with this because it was mixed so crazy and towards sonically going up against. Wait a minute, you coming from this to this? It's like, man, what was going on?
That's mix, isn't it?
Could you even call it a mix at times? Because I mean, they turn it down so you could only hear like a muffled, like they left the room or something in certain parts of it. Exactly. But it's Funkadelic, man, and it worked. As crazy as it's still working 50 years later for me. So
it works more 50 years later.
What made it even a little more spooky for me with all that was a lot of those copies I had to get secondhand, so they weren't pristine. So there'd be a lot of cracks and pops and stuff, and the other ambient noise on the discs that just really added to the whole like out there atmosphere of it.
Yeah, and then you have those other copies. Get those other copies that only have Free Your Mind on it. They don't have the complete title, which I thought was very interesting. I'm not sure what kind of what decision was made to make certain copies have a partial title and some copies have a full title.
Well, Tim, there's always been an effort to censor Funkadelic.
Yep. Well, this came from the label, so so there you go. What are you gonna do, right?
All right, well, let's keep it moving. Very cool pick, Ricky, going back some ways. I'm also going to come with another Funkadelic. This one is off a record that was one of the ones that was the hardest for me to find when I was filling out my collection from 1975. And it's one of my very favorites of all the Funkadelics. Let's take it to the stage. And the track that I'm picking is a leadoff track, which is Good to Your Ear Hole. When I first put this on and I heard that, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Just the fusion of funk and rock and the groove that it has. It's danceable, but it still rocks so hard. And and the vocals, and the guitar and just the even the title and the message, Good to Your Ear Hole. I loved it, and I was blown away that it wasn't a hit. I'm like, how could this not be a hit? This is an unbelievable record. And I felt like I had discovered gold, like in a mind that nobody knew existed. Other tracks like Butt to Butt Resuscitation are really cool too, and they have that kind of trippy, similar kind of feel.
Ooh.
But this one has the sound of a little bit of accessibility, but still just so far out there. And it brings it all together. And just the breakdown too, when they go into the instrumental part, oh my God, it just takes off to another level.
Eddie Hazel madness.
Yeah, man. That was
totally.
That's something else right there.
this, Ricky picked one that wasn't a hit. We've been picking hits. Now we're getting a little bit deeper into some of the album tracks. That one was not a hit. Should have been, in my opinion. And anyone who doesn't know it, you got to check out Get to Your Ear Hole.
Absolutely.
It wasn't until I was in, they were releasing stuff like Praxis that I realized how much Bernie had this affection for the chaos and the noise of that funkadelic, stank pocket that they was into back in the day, and he inhabits so many of those. And you could listen to somebody rocking out in the same time frame and getting into it, and it's and Bernie doesn't just sit there and play a classical chord on top and let people know he's trained. That's not what he does. He inhabits whatever the stank is, and then he liquefies the vibe with it and gets all up in it. And so he makes magic out of what some from the outside in is just dirty ass stank, and he makes some magic out of it. So there's something that is what has continued to amaze me when it's time to uncover and unpack some of those westbound funkadelics.
Oh yeah, and Bernie, I don't know if a lot of people, a lot of pianists, a lot of keyboardists who are classically trained. I don't know if they're trained to think like Bernie does. They don't. I don't know if a lot of I don't know if a lot of classically trained keyboardists or classically trained child prodigies would let themselves be in a band like Funkadelic.
Right.
So
right.
Obviously, if you put him in the context of a funk band, you're going to take that funk band to another level. And that's why I'm so glad Bernie was so forward thinking and had such a boundless imagination when he played those keyboards. Who was it that I think they kind of compared him to Victor Borgia? I don't know if you ever heard of that keyboard player, the pianist Victor Borgia. He's very, he plays a lot of classical music, but he puts a lot of comedic aspects into it. And I think that's in a way, Bernie comes off in the same fashion.
Man, you take a keyboardist like Bernie and add him to a funk band, but you add him to the funk band.
Yeah.
Not just any, not no disrespect, no Gap band, nobody, but the funk band that has funk in its name. Man, it was just going to happen. It took a while for the funkadelic side to get rolling. Like Scott said, why wasn't Good to Your Ear Hole not a hit? For me, when I went back, I was like, why wasn't Get Off Your Ass and Jam a hit? That was 2 minutes of bliss right there, just the way that jam came together. So, yeah, it was just the perfect mix, man. The players, the singers, it just was a perfect mix.
The reason I'm showing the CD, just so y'all know, is the original album cover I have that was so hard for me to find is signed by a whole bunch of them up on the wall right above me here.
Nice.
So. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
I feel the same way about Better by the Pound.
Yep.
I think Better by the Pound is a beautiful song. That should, I always thought, and I still kind of think that's Billy on bass, but according to what's his name, Danny's book.
Danny, yeah.
Yeah, apparently that's Boogie.
Boogie on bass, baby. I love some Boogie, man.
I love Boogie.
Man, I miss Boogie.
Who among us doesn't love Boogie, right?
Man, come on, man. That's another whole subject.
Thank you.
For sure.
Episode, man, because that dude.
All right.
Awesome.
We're ready for round 3 to start. Tim, you got something locked and loaded?
I remember once Ricky was talking about how, Alfred Downstroke had, changed his outlook on funk and just became like a monster hit for him. So that's what I'm going to put down here. Got to give it some Alfred Downstroke from Barcelona, Spain, and one from, I think, Italy.
Nice.
I think.
Wow.
I've always loved what kind of blew my mind about this song is, and it really blew my mind later on, was when I bought the 4 CD live set, the American version, and there's a track on it called "First Things First," and you listen to it like, what a ridiculous groove this is. But then when you hear it, thank you for representing people. Then when you hear it, then you're like, wait a minute, this is up for the downstroke with a different horn arrangement. So that's why when I heard it, I was like, so this has been in the mix at least 2 years before they released it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a testament to how bad that groove was. I don't remember hearing it on the radio here in New York. I know it probably did get airplay because it did go to the top 10 R&B, but I don't remember ever hearing it. But I can understand if it did get airplay because it really locked in that Clinton Collins Worrell magic,
Yeah.
And add Fuzzy to the, because I know Fuzzy's in the writer's credits as well.
Right.
But forget about it. That's a record that I think kind of makes that bridge between James Brown and Parliament.
Oh man, those horns! Come on now, that's a horns. That could have been on the Horny Horns album. I mean, if you listen to just the horns alone. Yeah. Matter of fact, they did. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So because that's how powerful that song was. When you really break it down, that sounded like some classic Fred. Doing this thing, man.
Yeah. What was it? George said that. What was it? They were like regular studio musicians, and that one of the horn players was the cousin of Shaka Khan. So I don't know. It could be Joe Boomfarrell. I don't know. Who knows? But I was wondering who the horn section on it, because that horn section kicks ass. No question about it.
Yeah, that's definitely powerful.
I use that song in my classes when I have to explain the one to people, because it's boom, and they have those real sloppy hand claps. So boom, clap, boom, and so you can not be on rhythm and still enjoy
and still catch up to the clap.
A hand clapper with it, but then you're clapping on the 2 and the 4, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Boom. See that? It's knocking you sideways while you're trying to keep the beat. Boom. That's the one. And how to get that lesson together.
Hey, Rick, I could just see you in class doing that right now, man, in front of a whole bunch of geepies trying to get them straight, trying to make them figure out the funk.
Get all subtle on them with some, tricky ass thing. You got to go whomp, and
got to hit them upside the head.
It was just cool too.
It makes me wonder is which came first? Did Bootsy have to show up before that song came together, or was it already in an arrangement?
Wow.
In the band, and then Bootsy showed up, and they said, "Okay, let's do this. Now it's ready."
From what I heard, Bootsy brought it to the band. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to say I vote Bootsy, but it also had just that phraseology, up for the downstroke.
Yes.
Flowed right into that P thing,
Yeah, did Rick, I was still probably listening to my A's games on the radio. Was that getting any airplay out here?
I heard it.
Or out there?
My first exposure to P-Funk on the radio.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what? Am I allowed to hear this? Wait.
It got played in LA, but it was before I was deep enough into the funk. So it was kind of in the periphery for me.
Okay.
It was like, I've heard that, but yeah, Mothership was the one that got me fully.
Right.
So.
All right, then.
All right, let's keep it moving. Thanks, Tim. Phil, what you got for number 2? Or 3.
Now we're on number 3, and I'm surprised that ain't none of y'all got with this. I'm looking at those posters that Tim got in the back, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. How in the heck ain't nobody said Dr. Funkenstein yet?
Ooh.
Wait a minute, man. That got some radio play too. So I'm like, we started going on the deep end with that other stuff. I'm like, wait a minute. The Clones of Dr. Funkenstein. If I'm not wrong on this, I remember Do That Stuff, right? Got the airplay. And once again, they chopped the drum part with Bigfoot on there and did a shorter version, but okay. But when I heard Dr. Funkenstein, I think I literally lost the circuit because now, mind you, this was before Flashlight, but this was right after being taken into outer space with that Mothership Connection album. It's like, well, what's next? Well, we gonna go deep within the pyramids, drop you off into our cloning lab, and start making you understand the spankability, all this funk that's about to really disrupt every membrane of your mind.
Yes.
That right there, the concept alone, and I think I asked this on an earlier show myself, was cloning even a thing back in 1976? And I'm going to put that out to y'all because I heard that maybe it was, maybe it was just, you could read about it in books, but was cloning up front and central to the public.
I don't think they have been able to do it.
Well, not do it, but I'm at least talking about it.
Yeah, it was a concept, but
it was a concept.
It wasn't in the mainstream.
Okay. So I love that Doc went on and took something that wasn't played out in the mainstream yet and said, okay, let me get my cloning together. Because that's a play on words for many things, for his audience, for his band, whatever. We're all clones of this funk. Just look at us four right here. We all clones of this stuff because we got deep with this music. Here we are almost 50 years later talking about it. And just they went through a whole different sonic sound comparing it to the Mothership Connection album. Mothership Connection to me had that bigger splankability, if you will, Rick, just all around you. It seems like this was a more compressed sound that was hitting you, and it was tight, but still hitting. Don't get me wrong, but still tight. And it was a different approach. I believe it was the same engineers on the track, but it was just, they were still fine tuning, if you will, that overall sonic quality of sound that was going to hit us all upside the head. So yeah, Dr. Funkenstein, y'all.
Yeah. And it felt intimate because you could, all those layers sort of were comfortable on top of one another. All them Fred Wesley type horns and all those little liquid licks on Bernie and then the vocals. And you're right, it felt more personal, and that made it even more epic when they did the Parliament Live version,
the Earth tour. It just sold it all together like a funk opera. It's like the story continues, man. Look at what are we doing here? This is next level. This wasn't just funk now. It was also a concept. See, so you had other bands doing funk, but when it came to putting concept that made that silly sense, but also serious sense at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
This right here, I mean, not to get too crazy, y'all, but isn't it like a woman version of him on the cover?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean,
Yeah. People want to talk. People don't want to talk about it, but yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Man, come on now.
That's one of those albums. You look at the cover. That cover makes you want to buy the record before you even know what the music sounds like.
Man, because that's when the computers took up the whole size of a room, right? It looks like he had a big old IBM computer right
the back
there.
cover is awesome.
Oh,
yes.
Right. And then he has the whole messed up clone in the corner looking like Igor. And then you got the doctor. And then you got a good clone, a girl clone, and a party clone. I mean, man, come on.
We don't always get it right, but we just keep it moving.
Wait a minute. And that's what they did, man.
Exactly.
I was hooked. I mean, I was already in with the Mothership, but not to the level to once this thing came out, and it was over. I was funk for life after that.
Mothership Connection is the album that shows you how badass. Well, it's an album that's making it ever say how bad we are. Clones are telling you this is that album just shows you, lays it out how bad we are. We know we're bad. That's why we're going to lay back in the cut this time. We don't have to. We don't have to put our Ted Roof off the sucker this time. We're just going to lay back, Let you hear what we've laid out, and then you understand why we're the baddest band in the world.
Absolutely.
I love
Not-
Dr.
yeah.
Funkenstein. That track, that was an ultimate for me. So it's right up there too. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. Somebody tracking with me. All right.
If they would only have released a 12-inch single of that live version, that would have been ridiculous.
I still want to hear
the live version.
Yeah, I would have loved to have heard that. I would have loved
Man,
to for them to.
Man, it was 15 minutes long already. What you
Yeah,
talking
that's
about?
why you should. If that's why they would, if they would have listened to 12-inch,
it was longer than that.
You know,
remember how it goes out and then comes back?
They got to fade it back in. They ran out of tape, man. What I heard.
Remastered. They need to remaster it.
That would be great. That would be awesome.
I believe they ran out of tape.
See, personally, I don't have a problem with the. I know some people have a problem with the mix of, on the live album, but that live album took me to another realm. I never really thought about the sound quality. I mean, I guess it could be tweaked here and there, but it works. When it gets to Dr. Funkenstein, forget about it.
Well, because the guitar is wailing throughout it, and I would just like to hear it a little bit clearer.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Man,
yeah, I get you.
Man, I'm gonna say this. All honestly, y'all tripping. That's one of the baddest albums. I was at that concert in Oakland, California, man. I felt the power of that concert. So I don't care.
Thank you.
Wanting to turn this up and turn that up. Sometimes you can't recreate magic, man.
I bet you it sounded just like you heard it when you were at that show.
Man, and I was on section 119 right there to the side. I tell you, it was just you just felt everything, man.
Somebody out there I think I heard that somebody out there has the complete Oakland show. I would love it.
Ricky, number 3, man.
Okay, well, I was going in a different one, but since we're all up on the live set, I'm gonna go for this.
Yes,
my Japanese import, that when you open it up, you got both things, and you get the poster, the mini. You get a mini of the Dr. Funkenstein poster.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me, man?
That's beautiful.
And I don't know if it works. That's your iron-on t-shirt.
They did not put that in that little box too, did they? Come on, man.
Yeah. And you get a whole other sound out of it, because you're right. I felt when I had the vinyl, I felt like it was murky, and I'm like, yeah, I've been to hella shows at the Oakland Coliseum, and it sounds murky, and that's how it is, and we just love it. And then the CD had a little bit more of the crispy, clean, high-end parts of it, which I enjoyed that. And then when you get these, they just kind of leaned on the dials and overdid all the highs on all these Japanese remasters. It worked on Motor Booty, and Big Bang Theory is a whole other beast when you get that from their remaster. But sometimes that really helps. Sometimes it's just kind of cool. But this thing has, like I said, a lot of toys. But the reason I'm bringing this up is, Scott, I'm gonna cheat and put 3 songs together at one, and that is Children of Production, Mothership Connection, and what do they call it? Swing Down Chariot. That is the live experience of the landing of the Mothership at the Oakland Coliseum, January 9th, 1977. Boom. That changed the game right there.
Ricky, you've played that whole side on your radio station before when we was celebrating some type of anniversary before. We played it from the beginning and then flipped it over and played Dr. Funkenstein all 15 minutes, man.
Well, I mean, you don't get better than that. And
I know. But you got to pick one, man. I thought we was just doing singles. Come on now. You got to pick one off that album at least then. Come on now.
One contiguous live experience.
Oh,
on the label doesn't mean it's multiple tracks. It was one contiguous live experience, the landing of the Mothership.
All right. So you ain't gonna pick one. Okay.
And then you got the studio version of This Is the Way We Funk With You.
Yeah.
Which should have been released as a single. I don't know why it wasn't.
Right. Dawn and Lynn up in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it take a little minute for it to get in gear, boy. But once they start rocking on that thing,
Ooh,
oh funk me,
oh,
oh funk me, good.
jeez. Like funk celebrating itself.
Playing
Man,
all up on that.
man, man.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with my number three and returning to an album that we already touched on.
Mm.
Different track, but another long one.
Okay, different track. Okay.
Going back to this one.
Okay.
Sir Nose, devoid of funk. I Will Never Dance.
No.
No,
Syndrome, Twiddly Dum. That track,
Humdrum. Ooh.
I mean, it's kind of continuing with the Dr. Funkenstein vibe and trippiness, with those voices and that, slowed down tempo and just getting deep into the groove and just sitting there for a long time. And those horns that come just floating in, and that bass line, come on. And there's
Yeah.
just so much going on in this track. I mean, it's so infectious and just penetrates into your cortex and doesn't let you go.
Yeah.
Three blind mice using nursery rhymes and whatever kind of nonsense, and it just works. It all works.
There's not
It all sounds ingenious, and it's nursery rhymes.
there's not an idea on that album that doesn't work.
Right.
That
At all.
one, though, I mean, it's over 10 minutes,
Mm.
and just the way it starts, too, with just that, Sir Nose and the synth sounds and the little kind of freaky little squiggles and just setting that tone and that mood and that vibe, and then just easing into it. And Ray Davis again, better luck
Yes.
next time.
Better
Yes.
luck next
Yes.
time.
it just had so much attitude. It's like we're gonna represent the unfunkiest dude, and so you think you're gonna get an unfunky song? There's no such thing as an unfunky song from Parliament.
Nah, that
Nope.
that song, man, that's where Sir Nose is born, right? That's our first time hearing that this computer sounding, not a talk box, not a vocoder, but we hear something different, and it sounds like a computer talking to us almost,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, he put the stamp like y'all gonna when Sir Nose talk, you gonna listen because you ain't heard this before, right? So that,
Exactly.
oof, man. I didn't know you was gonna pull that one out there, Scott, because that is a monster song. And I guarantee y'all, the only person that's done probably played that on the radio is that man sitting down in that corner right there. Because I never heard that one on the radio.
I don't think I did either.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. Hell, can you think of another album, funk or otherwise, that just only has 6 tracks on it, and yet all 6 tracks are banging, and all 6 tracks take an entire genre into a different direction?
Man, it was rare. And
No,
that's
right.
the whole thing. If it was, it's rare, and it's just that, and I'll let the cat out the bag. That, I know some people might disagree, but that's my favorite album from Parliament. And it's a lot of other bangers that they've put out, but, and I'm talking about at the time, it just meant so much from my point of view, how I view me, right? At that time, that was it. I didn't know what else was going to come after that. I done seen the Mothership Land, and then you come out with this thing. Oh my God. This is just another banger of all bangers, especially with Flashlight, Funkadelic, Sir Nose. Now, what did trip me up though was the Wizard of Finance. I got a little tripped up. Wait a minute.
What an eccentric song that is. I love that.
But I was too young to understand it at the time.
Yeah.
You got to remember,
Yeah,
I was only 14, and I'm still, just got through listening to baseball games on the radio. Now I'm trying to get my head around all of this. I'm like, what? Wait a minute, you talking about the Wizard of Finance, man? I want to know what's going to happen with Sir Nose on the next thing? Let me flip this thing over, right?
Uh-huh.
What was really fun back then was playing songs like Dr. Funkenstein and this one for people who weren't into the funk or in the Parliament, didn't really understand it. And they would be like, just what the hell is this? But you know what? After they would sit with it for a little bit, they couldn't help themselves but start tapping their foot or start, they're like, this is actually kind of interesting. And cool. And they would start feeling it. You know, it was like just that unavoidable, I think, you know, to have it just get into your bloodstream one way or another if you gave it a chance.
Right.
Of course.
Right.
You know, it's like the best drug.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that song is and I love all the changes that it goes through. You it's like you're getting on a journey. You starting off one way, but then it just creeps in like someone tiptoeing, and then it just bam. I can dig it, right? It just
This is
hits
Star
you.
Child.
Right.
Day.
Chasing the noses away, man. What are you talking about? Just masterful.
Ever hear some signs and sign in your life?
Yeah.
Man.
Do.
Nice
Do,
pick,
do,
man.
do.
That's all I can
man.
say.
Just
All right.
Boosie acting ignorant. Plain and simple.
Absolutely. All right. Let's keep it rolling, gents. We're on to number 4, Mr. Kinley.
Oh, okay. Right on. What a ridiculous. Okay, let me go back and go back, turn around, and hit you with it. I heard the pre-production version of this song when they came up with this thing. I'm sure you know Ricky and Phil probably and Scott. You probably already know about a thing called the Turds.
Yes,
That was like
I remember
like a whole bunch of outtakes that came out in the early 2000s.
That was yes, I remember that one.
And then when I heard the pre-production version of Right On, it is just ridiculous. The horn, I didn't really understand how ridiculous these horn arrangements are in this song until I heard that pre-production version, and then the horns just sound asinine. They sound incredible. Okay,
it's just all over the place.
There you go.
Oh yeah,
that's it. That's it, Scott. Hold it up high.
So what you holding there, Tim? Is that a CD or 45?
This is a single from Italy, I believe.
A single. Wow.
Yeah.
Man. Nice.
You know, very interesting that they would make they would do a picture sleeve single for a record that wasn't anywhere near any kind of a hit, and yet here it is. I love it. I love the way that that countries outside of America think outside the box, even with bands like Parliament-Funkadelic. You know, so when I heard the horn rhymes, now see, now what you know what you're gonna do now? You're gonna make me go back to the clones of Dr. Funkenstein, because that's the only album in which you see who does the horn arrangement for each song, something you don't see on any other Parliament album.
I didn't trip on that. Okay.
And that's why that's why I had to pose the question one time about who does better arrangements, Bernie or Fred. A question you don't even want to answer, because both of them make arrangements that break your teeth. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed.
So that's why I had to put this up there in that top 5.
Man, that's so was that released after Chocolate City, or did that come before Chocolate City?
I believe it was after.
Okay, so that was going to be a follow-up.
Yeah.
Man, that whole first side, when you just starting with Chocolate City right on together, side effects. Man, come on. They were letting you know, we ready for takeoff, y'all.
Yep.
We ready for takeoff. Chocolate City, hold on to something tight, because we're getting ready to put out another album in a few months that's going to take you to outer space.
Okay.
Right? Come on, man.
And what do you see on that side one? Clinton Collins World on damn near every track. Clinton Collins World.
That's when the magic was actually. I mean, of course, up for the downstroke, you got some stuff happening.
Yeah.
But for this, even the spoken word type concept that was going to eventually turn into rap. Start, right in here with Chocolate City before P-Funk, right? Before this was. Let's step into it and step into it deep, because we getting ready to turn this sucker out. Period.
Yes.
Was that mostly George or Fuzzy or the lead vocal on Ride On? Because who was that?
I don't know.
Like a chant vocal. And I keep hearing Don and Lynn's version too from the that live at Howard.
Oh yeah, Howard Theater. Yeah, that was nice. That was nice.
You know that ooh, right on.
Doing the right on.
Yeah.
I know George is up there, up front in the mix on certain parts.
Yeah.
Love that track. That was my pick. I have it as an alternate, but Right On was the one I had from that record for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to, man.
Yeah.
Like Phil said, that whole one side, forget about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You dropped the needle on it.
If they would have made that into an EP, that would be flawless. Not that the album isn't flawless, but you know.
Give me that long version of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Right On's only with 3 something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like they was trying to have some radio friendly cuts ready for you that you can put on and go to the next song and go to the next. But
exactly.
Yeah. I think they may have gotten scared out in Chocolate City though. They was like, "Well, what y'all talking about? Who in the White House?"
Yeah, right. City?
Wait a minute. Who y'all talking about getting in there? I didn't hear it on the radio.
No.
Did you, Rick?
No.
Okay. How about you, Tim?
No, but I bet you it got a whole bunch of airplay in DC. You know?
I bet it did too. If it didn't, now that's a crime. If it didn't, come on now.
So 150,000 copies in a city that's only 7 square miles.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure they got airplay.
Okay. Nice.
Or, the lack of airplay could have made it sell better too.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, the markets are a trip, man. Like you said, some stuff got played heavy over here and then get nothing back east, and then vice versa, right? I mean, it was very, regional type things happening back then.
Especially when you're dealing with a band or a recording act that has a really solid cult following.
Oh, absolutely. Right.
Let's keep it rolling. Phil, you got number 4. What do you got?
I got number 4? Oh, man. Okay, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're gonna peak a groove. And what I mean by that, we're going to go for I kind of call it the last hurrah. And that is the electric spanking of War Babies. I know some people don't understand this song. It got 0 airplay. But man, I was so happy to see this. And man, I don't want to hurt any feelings, but another Funkadelic album that came out prior to this, and I was lost, y'all.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened?
Right.
Did the album cover scare him or something? I mean, what's going on? But I was looking in Danny's book, and it showed that for most of all of the instrumentation, that was a Junie track, man.
Yep.
And with Mike doing the solo. Am I right, y'all?
Yep. Absolutely.
Hey, I don't know, man. When you if you learn to dance, you won't forget it. I may be butchering it a little bit, but man, I dug the hell out of that. And I think I was the only person that I knew in my little group of folks I was around. This was around high school, 81, I think, around that time. Nobody was feeling this, man. But I was all in. All in.
I remember when the single came out and it had the album cover on one side and the back side was a whole bunch of Pedro Bellism, and it was in pink letters,
like reddish pink, yes.
Background, and it was hard to read. And it was the instrumental. It had the wiggly vote, the near had all that, but then it was a 5-minute instrumental with Mike doing this thing on top of it.
Man, that 45 was because they released that first. I remember getting that thing first, and I was like, "Yeah, we back, y'all." It was like a side. I was happy again because I was still confused from the previous album which I ain't gonna get into right now. But I was a little confused about what was happening. I didn't know folks was leaving and doing and keeping names and getting away with it. Was a lot happening. But when I heard that particular track, I was like, yeah, okay.
They made one for the fans.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
They made a Westbound album. They made a Warner Brothers album that should have been a Westbound. It was just for the core
and should have been a 2-record set too.
It could have been a double album easily, because it sounds like some stuff got cut real short on here. If you check out some of the tracks,
you should hear. They
wanted the double album. They
Huh?
gave him a double album, and Warner Brothers said, "No, we're
Yeah.
not doing that for you
Oh.
colored ass losers. We're just gonna, chop it up and
I did not know that.
play a handful." That's
Yeah. You, you should hear, you
he
should see the
delivered the double album.
you should okay, you should see the original track listing. It's ridiculous.
Mm.
You know, I think both versions of
Funk Gets Stronger.
Funk Is Stronger runs more than 10 minutes each
Damn.
version.
Wow.
You know, I would be fascinated to hear that. Because one person who has it, so we'll see what happens.
They credit Roger Troutman, and I'm like, well, where's Roger on this? Where's
You
Roger?
don't hear. Wait, right?
But I bet on the uncovered, unedited parts, there's probably a whole lot more Roger on them. One Nation in a Groove was a Junie track. Knee Deep was a Junie track.
Right.
I'm sure at some level they said, well, let's get a Junie track, and at least we covered our bases here. But then Junie sort of, read the room and said, I'm gonna go, I've been over here with on Columbia messing with my rapping about rapping and Bread Alone and those things that he was doing,
Five. Yeah. All of those. Yeah. But like I said, man, it was, to me, that was like, okay, we can take a bow. We did good. You can look back on the body of work and say, man, people will be talking about it 50 years from now. And here we are 40 years later. Yeah, because it was, that catalog as a whole is just, you can't match it, man.
Nope.
Exactly.
All right.
There was they did Icka Prick on there because Prince was getting so nasty. They figured they had the and that was on the label with them, right? Prince was on.
That's right.
That's
right.
That's right.
All right.
Prince being nasty is one thing. Funkadelic being nasty, that could be disgusting.
Yeah,
okay. That's what they say on the song. That's
right.
So
that's disgusting. Okay.
Icka Prick kind of went back to the Westbound, some of the Westbound.
Thank you. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
All right, let's keep it moving, guys.
All right.
Ricky, number 4.
Okay, go back to the main line here. I'm gonna mess with this.
Oh,
okay.
And the final track on this, I'm still trying to understand it, even though the lyrics are no lyrics. There's just grunts. Night of the Thumpasaurus Peoples. The original rendering with
Rickey Vincent.
And I thought it was Jerome Braley, but I think the book said it was Mudbone on the drums on there.
Yeah.
And going all the way off. And
wow.
And to this day, I can still try to figure out who are the Thumpasaurus people. And Phil, I did that whole track of the Thumpasaurus Galacticus, and
I know, man.
The whole thing about who are they? They come from what is it? They have mapped out the galaxy in a spiral of sequential polyhedrons, and just all this stuff where they came from the center of the chocolate Milky Way, and just adding to it, because I think everybody would just want to expand. And whether you're thinking about Thumpasaurus or not, the thump up in the track, the first sort of phase of it, I never understood. What the hell is that? And then it drops, and the Gaga Guga comes in, and it's on a whole different time signature of what they're doing, and then it just drops, and it's just big, and then it's thunder, and then it just Bernie takes you home, takes you all the way out. This whole thing, this one gets you in there, and then he'll take you to the edge of the known universe as he takes his wiggly moog thing all the way out. And Bernie signed this actual record.
I thought I saw some scribblings on there. That's Bernie. Nice.
Bernie. And I think the first signature I got was when Jerome Braley signed this. He had done a session with my brother, and I ran over there.
Nice. So Rick, I'm gonna counter you with that, just because that beginning of Thumpasaurus people that you said you was waiting for it to drop to get to that. Well, Rick James took that later, and everybody started doing. But man, the beginning of that was so magical, man. It was, to me, because it just sounds like the horns are doing their thing. Down, Man, come on, man. Everybody loves different parts of their funk, but because I remember P-Funk used to then do that beginning part at the concerts. So finally in the 90s, 20 some odd years later, they started incorporating, look at Tim Horner. They started incorporating that to the thing. Man, I lost my mind. That was like, okay, there you go. But okay, I digress.
You lost your mind. Okay. I was at Yale University, 1996. I was videotaping a show, and they were doing Tear the Roof Off, and they were doing that groove, and then all of a sudden, dum, 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 dum. If you go to YouTube, it's on the videos on YouTube. When you hear it, you're gonna hear somebody say, ah! Ah! That would be neat. Because I didn't think I was like, oh my God, they're playing the actual record. I've never heard this. Man. I lost my mind when they did that. Man. And then they went through it, and then they
dropped it.
Then they dropped Gaga Guga.
Then they dropped it.
And everybody, all the old heads that were in the audience, like, damn.
See,
I think they stopped clapping, and just said, damn.
Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just go to YouTube.
The Thumper Source people have to be ushered in with that.
Yes,
it's a march. Yeah, you're marching it in, man. My brother Chaos was talking about him and Illenstein. It was at the show in the 90s, and when they heard him do that, they both fell on the floor. It was just like, okay, this is what we want to hear, y'all, because we want that funk, man. That's the bottom line. We don't want it cut. We want that uncut funk, man. And that's what that was. So sorry, Rick. I didn't mean to step on your intro to your groove, man.
Oh, that's cool. All right. So 2 from Mothership so far.
Mothership 2.
I'm not going to go to Mothership, but I'm going to go to the year after Mothership, back to Funkadelic. And believe it or not, this was actually, I believe, the last piece to my Parliament-Funkadelic puzzle when I was looking for every record. Even though it came out in 76, I could not find this thing anywhere. And I was on Venice Beach Boardwalk one day, and some guy with like records and crates selling them on the boardwalk had sealed copy of this record I could never find anywhere. And it was Tales of Kid Funkadelic.
Wow.
And this is still that copy. It's open, but it's still pretty mint.
Wow.
On
the beach boardwalk, huh? Someone selling it.
I thought I was seeing things, I was
that's classic, man.
So the track though is on Disco Kid. So
why did I know you were going to say that?
I had actually heard that track first on Parliament Live.
Right.
That was where I first got exposed to it. I was like, where'd this track come from? What is this? It's not Parliament. I have every Parliament, And so it was sort of a mystery. And this version, though, I definitely like the studio version. The live version's cool, but the studio version, man, with the stuff Bernie's doing and how it sounds and that bass. Oh my God. Just that like rumbling, perkling bass throughout it. Every time she wiggle, make me holler for more. It's just unbelievable track. So funky.
Man.
And for Funkadelic, it was arguably, I would say, maybe the funkiest Funkadelic track ever to that point. Right?
Okay.
Ooh. Yeah, that was an album that's, it's like with Prince, the Black Album is to me his version of Tales of Kid Funkadelic. No pop gloss whatsoever, just straight up like the type of funk you don't even want to bring around other people.
That was so funky. They had to recall it. It was so funky.
Thank you. I found that record on a rack seal for $2.99. I was the happiest person in the world.
Wow.
That was my first Funkadelic record. And Scott, I did the same thing. I was like, whose title's on the back of this Parliament lot? Wait a minute, what is this? And then eventually I found a used copy at the store for below retail price. Talked about at the top. and but it was so scary looking. All I did was read the liner notes. I didn't even want to play it. I remember playing my Isley Brothers album while I read the liner notes cover art, just because it was just too much funk all at once for my 16-year-old brain.
Too funky in here, man. That
See, you guys, you guys are you guys are showing off right now because
no,
my records are in another room. I got to run back and forth to do what you guys are doing. You guys, you got it in arm's length. I got a couple of 45s here, but I don't have the albums. They're in another room. I mean, jeez.
man, he sent the liner notes of what we was gonna get down. What happened?
I got you. I know.
Come on, don't be mad at us. Don't hate on us for doing our homework.
You know what it is? I'm right now near the modem in this house.
Okay.
So I'm getting the best reception possible. So if I go
Wi-Fi.
into another room, it's not going to be that good.
There's I don't know if I showed the kid. There's the actual kid.
The kid,
Yes.
the kid, kickback lining in the cut.
I will
Yeah,
say
some
that
fish
even at
and
that time
chips.
when I was hearing tracks like But About Resuscitation, I was like, man, this is out there. You know, it took me a while to be able that track, especially if you're listening on headphones by yourself and you're like a kid. That's so scary. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
but there's a certain part on that record where you get the little laughing man going in the background. Y'all know what I'm talking about? It's a little laughing.
It
was
sounds
a
like one of
thing-
those little didn't they used to have like a little thing that would open with like a laughing box or something?
Yeah.
It was similar to that, but they were actually like big heads, and like it was a tie. You could pull it, and it would actually spit water out at you, and then after that, it would laugh at you, laughing at you, man.
Yes.
And that's what it sounds like. That sounds like something that they was using on, towards, that song, man. It's so just it was just craziness on top of funkiness, and you're right. That bass line with that Mutron on it was just oozing out all over the place. It was, man, I got to give it to you. That's a good pick, man.
Yeah.
And
Those are outtakes.
I got to mention it's the final one for Westbound. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep saying that it's like a bunch of leftovers and outtakes on it, but that's the most potent album track by track, one of their best. So
better than a lot of albums that are thought out and planned out from start to finish. They just all right. Whoever threw those tracks together, give them a Grammy.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
So you saying they had already bounced or something before they put them in that sequence? Is that what I'm hearing?
probably.
That album was they owed Westbound one more album.
Oh,
So I guess they just took whatever tracks that they thought would fill up one last album, gave it to them, and that was the release. Even though I think that was that I love that album a lot more than other funk albums from other bands. I'll tell you that.
it came out same year as the first one on Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
76.
But see, I thought they put out a greatest hits or something with some scary looking lamb or goat on the
Yes.
goat's head on it.
1975.
Yeah, so
But somebody else could have done that for them.
right. That's why I was tripping. You saying that if this one was put together, yeah, you're right. Whoever put this together, then then sequenced it, because this is one I like to listen from the beginning to the end as well.
Absolutely.
Pedro was in full effect because he hand wrote all the liner note scribbles on there.
Yeah.
On every other Pedro album, the typeset, he sort of typed in
Gotcha.
what he was doing, his little liner note essays from the other. But that one he did little pens and pencils, hand drawn. So he treated it like it was a brand new release, and I appreciate that.
All right, you ready for the final
album came
round?
out, what 1 month before Hardcore Jollies.
Ready for the final round, guys? Tim, you ready?
Yep.
Bring it home.
Ready? A song that I didn't hear on the radio until P-Funk got blew up, and they started playing other tracks off of that same album. So I'm going to give you Bop Gun. There you go.
Well, half the tracks on Funkin Around now.
I told you.
It's a testament to how ridiculous that album is. Okay, because I think they thought that this was going to be the big hit. According to George, he thought that this was going to be the big hit off of the record. And I love this song, and I love the way that they play it live. The way they play it live, especially back in when the record came out, was just they could play it forever, and I wouldn't care because the groove is just so infectious.
Yeah.
But I guess they thought this was going to be the big hit. But you listen to the album, and you're like, this is a great song, but Flashlight is the jam. Flashlight is the full tilt hit. But this one got very little airplay in New York, but it should have gotten more because of the way that, like, for example, I did not know that Frankie Cash was the drummer on this record. So I always thought it was Jerome, but according to Frankie, that's him behind the record, behind the kid, and he does some hellified drumming on this record.
Yeah,
more the type of hellified drumming I hadn't heard him do since, say, the JB's The Grunt. You know, so that's why I always loved this album, this single, this particular picture sleeve, which is from
that cover is something else right there, man. You got the glasses that come down before the mothership land.
Yes.
Wow.
See, again, they think out of the box. I mean, you know, a lot of these singles that when they came out in America, they didn't come out with picture sleeves.
Come on, man.
You know, and then I read somewhere. No, I didn't read, but I had heard somewhere that in Europe and in Japan, the vast majority of singles that are released in those countries come out in picture sleeve format. That's why you don't see a lot of these type of picture sleeves in the States.
So they were too cheap as well. I mean, it would cost, another 2 cents per unit, right?
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. You know,
what's on the back side of that, Tim? What's on the
they wasn't tripping off the color.
Oh, okay. So they got the album cover down. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
How long is the single version?
Huh?
Is it a cut version? Because like 8 minutes on the record.
I don't think so. And you really can't tell because they don't have the times on it.
Oh.
Okay.
But yeah, this is like this from France.
That's nice, man.
See, they think
that's nice.
Totally outside the box. That's and of course collectors are going to go after something like this.
Man, that's like a poster right there, man. Come on now.
Thank you.
That's a mini poster right there because you see a whole bunch of pictures of the mothership, but man, those glasses that came down and looked around before the mothership, came out of the big apple hat and looked and seen what was happening all around. Man, that's deep right there.
Yes, it is.
You gotta love that Bop Gun guitar riff.
Oh, please.
Yes.
Please.
That was my introduction to Glenn. That was when I really understood Glenn.
See, now I had been rocking with Glenn back in, Mothership with the handcuffs but on Bop Gun, Glenn, if I'm not mistaken, this was around the time when Glenn was getting ready to leave, and along with Jerome, they was getting ready to depart the ship, and then Gary was going to take over that round, and that was before he passed. But still, Bop Gun was definitely a great introduction to that. To me, best album of all time for Parliament. But yeah, it just led the way into what you was getting ready to get deep into. It was, and you were talking about that drumming. It was hitting on the 1 at the beginning instead of the 2 and 4, which was kind of mess you up if you're really trying to get that groove going. But yeah, it was some great drumming on it, great vocals. It was, man, I agree with you. That's one for the record books right there. Bob
right there. Exactly.
He was introducing this arsenal, what he was going to have to do battle with Sir Nose with. Like I said, all part of the funk opera. He was introducing you to these parts that was going to be part of this big master plan that he had up his sleeve.
It's interesting how some of the P-Funk records, the first singles weren't always the real killer ones,
right.
Like with that one, Bop Gun was good, but it wasn't no Flashlight.
I was about to bring that up.
With Glory Hell Stupid, with Party People coming first, and then Black Hole, and even Big Bang or so.
Loopzilla was before Atomic Dog.
Yeah,
that was going to be my next one. Yeah,
they got their act together. When Funkadelic came around, because the first singles were always the hits.
Don't.
That's it.
Oh yeah.
And Aqua Boogie was also a first single.
Right. Yeah, they changed it up after they got it rolling, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because but now wasn't if we saying that though, if we went back to Mothership Connection, wasn't Tear the Roof Off the
I
first
think
one, and
P-Funk
then
wants
P
to
Funk?
get
P
funked
Funk
up.
was the first single, then Tedder Fourth was the second.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
they had a crazy long-term plan to kind of just, you know, just initiate people and not just and make them wait to get what they funking for.
Get more for what they funking for. Okay.
It's a trip.
All right, let's keep it rolling. Phil, what are you gonna
All
close it
right.
out with?
I'm gonna close it out with an album where they, you heard me say where we ended it with Warner Brothers with Electric Spanking, but well, this thing right here, and if I gotta pick one, I'm gonna have to say, if you got funk, you got style. And the reason why I say that, because when I listen to this with the headphones on, and y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but if you listen to If You Got Funk, You Got Style, it is some of the craziest tambourine playing in the background throughout that cut
Yeah.
where, I mean, just, and then it just stops. And then, man,
Like they dropped it and then picked it up and did it again, right?
and did it again. Like, oh, I dropped my tambourine. Let me, yeah. But and then that liquid bass, man. I'm a sucker for the liquid bass sound, man. It's just sound like truly like he was stretching out, getting ready to do his own solo stuff, man. Like here, oh, I'm Boosie, man. Y'all better pay attention because here I come.
Yeah.
That bass line is one of my favorite bass lines right there. And I don't know what else to say. That's we're gonna end it
Like
with that.
they
Y'all
were
come on in.
freestyling. They were freestyling the whole way, even though the lyrics say if you got funk, you got style, as if you had something organized, but that thing doesn't have anything organized. They just dancing.
Ain't conscientious about her
Yes.
walk.
The
Yep.
older label
Boom,
that
boom,
you're
boom.
talking about?
Oh, the Burbank. Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it, man. Yeah, cause see, I had to go back. This was a go back. This wasn't, even though this was coming out around the same time, 76, right? It was around
Mhm.
that. But after I got hit upside the head and splanked so hard with that mothership Earth tour, and they was doing Coming Around the Mountain, Cosmic Slop, which ended up on this thing as a live version. I mean, it was just so much stuff happening, man. This this was the introduction to Warner Brothers, man, and they went for it with it. Still hadn't fine tuned it yet for that One Nation hit, but this was, we were leading in that right direction, just like how Chocolate City was cultivating it, moving it towards the Mothership Connection.
Ricky, you're up for your
Okay, my fifth one.
yeah.
An album we have not touched on yet is this.
Oh,
And the last time I saw George, it was down here at the Kaiser Convention Center in April, and they opened with Super Stupid.
nice.
Yeah, there you go.
And so that's my track here because it puts everything the early Funkadelic was about together in a track that rocks all the way out.
Yeah.
We did, if we wanted to do mind-bending hypnotic we'd all have 20 selections of that. But in terms of ripping it, in terms of you gotta you gotta bring the heavy weight and bring some concept, bring some groove, bring some hard driving rock funk metal noise. That's Super Stupid, and it's all of the above and packs it in. So if I had to tell somebody, this happened once. I was at Calex, the college radio, and this woman that she was long, bushy hair. She was just rock. She was rock and roll DJ, rock star, and she was like in a weird mood. Like, I need some metal. I need metal. She was yelling up and down the hallway. I need some metal. I need metal. I was like, lady, all right, you need some metal. You want to calm down? And I gave her the scratched up version of the album that Calix had and played her super. She played Super Stupid, and that kind of soothed the savage beast right there. I was, oh, I didn't know this stuff. And clone somebody else with that. I forget her name. Last Will wouldn't remember that lady, but I just remembered when you have to hit somebody with some no nonsense, no, don't wait, don't have to ease into it. But you know, how does the funk and rock work with the Funkadelics? You drop them super stupid, and they're done. So
Yeah, Rick, you know, it's funny you saying that somebody was asking for some metal. I don't know if you guys remember this group called Audio Slave.
Yep.
Does that ring a bell?
Chris Cornell. Yeah.
They did a cover of that. I think it was a B-side or something. It was on an EP, but man, they started out and the guitar player or the bass player messes it up, and they kept the tape rolling and kept it playing. One of the funkiest remixes or remakes, if you will, of that track. And you're right. So that was genre blending. It went from funk to rock, but it was actually rock to begin with in the first place. Right.
Right.
It just, you know, it was letting you know if you got funk, you got style, and who says a funk band can't play rock? Well, that was
that's
it.
one that needs to be played when you want to ask
That when you want to wake them up. And yeah, that was definitely a monster jam.
What did Clip Payne call it? Ghetto metal.
That's right.
That's exactly what it is.
That's right.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and
That's
so
it.
Audio Slave tiptoed into it and got, man, and did a nice version of it, man.
You better know what you're doing if you're gonna
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
The track is so driving. It's just,
Yes,
you know.
absolutely.
Yeah, man. Was that Eddie on guitar?
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, see, undeniable. See, and then on that remake that I'm talking about, that was the dude from the guitar player from Jesus.
Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah.
Man, your modern day Jimi Hendrix, but I won't get into that right now. But yeah, that's something. You know something's funky when you got dudes that really hone their craft and they're doing songs from 50 years ago, and that just tells you how strong of a jam that was by Funkadelic, man. That was just a earth shattering, booty bouncing all over the place song, man.
That's you can kind of compare that to the Red Hot Chili Peppers and the Roots doing "Stand on the Verge" on what's his name? Not Tonight Show with what's my man's name?
Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon. Yes.
Wait a minute, I got to pull that one up. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
One.
Oh, they tear that up.
Really?
They shred it. No
Okay.
question about it.
I'm going back to the mothership. I had a hard time deciding because you all picked so many great ones that I also had on my list. But ultimately, I got to bring it back. And again, this is another one where my original record's on the wall signed. So I got this one here, but I also have the gold record back there of it. So
nice.
got to go back to the top, P-Funk Wants to Get Funked Up. That track, lead off cut of this arguably greatest funk album ever made. You guys seem to like Funkadelic better. I go with Mothership, but that one just brought Clennon's rap, to where it would kind of sit. You know what I mean? Like as a wordplay, wordsmith guy with turns of phrases, and then just the groove was unlike anything. I mean, Chocolate City title cut hinted at it, but P-Funk Wants to Get Funked Up, that just had the rubbery element, bouncing, and then horns, and then breaking down with the solos of the horns, and just letting it really just kind of breathe. Nice, and Bernie hitting little synth parts, and just kind of, I mean, what a vibe, unreal. And to just set the tone for that whole album, and the way it goes directly into Mothership afterwards, it's just incredible. You took those tracks in a row from live, Ricky. I would say P-Funk flowing in a Mothership connection in studio. You can't beat that to me. And, it was comical. It was I mean, how would you even describe? I didn't know how to describe that music at the time, because it was jazz, it was funk, it was like nothing ever heard before.
Like philosophical funk, which is humorous to begin with.
Yeah, and taking little shots at some other acts, and
Yeah,
just introducing Star Child.
yeah, that exactly.
Yeah,
And
these
on top of
characters.
that, if you listen to it very carefully through headphones, you will see that more than likely George is laying down those vocals from the booth, not in the studio. You can actually hear him reclining in the chair while he's laying down the raps. Listen to it very carefully. Do it. You can't hear you may not be able to hear it through the speakers, but put headphones on and you'll hear him reclining in a chair. He's laying down those vocals from the booth, not the
Man, you hear the chair squeak
yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah.
Wait, hey man, you are one of us, aren't you?
Oh yeah,
And it was
all the
rap
way
before,
live.
nascent
Man.
rap, and
Yeah.
also just he throws that in there. Stay tuned, y'all, for Star Child. It's like got like a preview of what's coming next.
Yeah, exactly.
All mapped out in his head.
Yeah,
It's like you listen to the record. It's like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if anybody here is a musician, but I don't know what Bootsy is doing on the song "Make My Funk the P-Funk." I don't know what he's doing on that chorus. I know what he's doing in the rest of the song. That dum dum, dum dum dum.
The main
But when
groove.
you get to the chorus, I don't know what he's doing.
he's going off.
Yeah, it's like he's internalizing everything he's playing.
You got
I
to.
don't know. I can't follow it.
Let me help you with that. I dabble a little bit. So
Okay,
when they get when they get to that part, Boosie always said James was always strict to saying get on the one, and he would just laugh about it, right? Get on the one. George finally said, "Man, nah, stretch out." So if you listen to that song in the segments, like the chorus part versus with the rap part, well, he kind of keeps it together so that George can be heard. But when you got the chorus and everybody going, it's time to start showing some chops. And that's what he
Right.
does.
Wow.
That's what he does. And like I'm always been a big fan of that Mutron, that liquid bouncy sound
Yes,
that y'all been
yes,
talking
yes.
about. That was my introduction to that sound. And man, I'm glad you picked this one, Scott, because
Yes.
man, P-Funk. I mean, that's what the
Exactly.
whole
That's why we're
this
here.
is what that's why we're here. I mean,
Yeah.
it's undeniable. But that song set the tone for everything. I agree with you on that. It just truly set the tone. And to have Boosie come in doing what he was doing and have those horns doing what they were doing, man, it just magical. Sometimes and I know we said it's a lot of silliness, but there were a lot of subliminal things happening underneath all of the craziness that he was
Right.
talking about. And that had to be another whole show too, because we can start thinking about and talking about what did he really mean when he was talking about three blind mice or
Right.
whatever else was going on. It's some deep seriousness to the silliness, but definitely P-Funk sign for the P-Funk Uncut Funk the Bomb. That's definitely the pick, man.
And we should also thank Boogie Monsoon for kind of simplifying the bass line for that song in Parliament Live. I didn't know what Boosie was doing until Boogie kind of simplified it. It's like, oh, I get what he's doing now. Okay, I get it. I get it. You know,
Boogie filled Boosie's shoes because Boosie couldn't be there because either he was for a little while he was doing part of the opening act thing, but then went solo on it. But yeah, love the way Boogie just slid into those shoes of Boosie for the live show and made it. Didn't feel like I was missing anything when he was doing it. You want
to talk about the greatness of Boogie Monsoon? Just put on Parliament Live.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, whenever you say that name, you got to follow up with that's French.
That's French. That's French. That's French.
All right.
All right.
Hey,
man.
well, it's honorable mention time. So let's try having everyone pick 3 honorable mentions really quick. You ready, Ricky?
Oh,
Ricky?
ready.
You got your 3 honorable mentions? Wow.
My 3 honorable mentions are the title track Tales of Kid Funkadelic. We haven't talked about Big Bang Theory. I'll give it up for that one. And How Do You View You?
Hey, Rick, you're taking my stuff.
All right. My three alternates, I have more than that here, but I had Cosmic Slop, the live version, because that's the one I heard first, actually. And I love that version. Say Rumpelstiltskin. Man, you were talking about Skeet some, but on that track, whew,
Yes.
kills it. I don't want to be too repetitious off the same record, but I'm gonna go with Charlie. Funk It Ready to Roll.
Ready to roll.
One Nation.
Oh,
I always thought
wow.
that should have been a hit as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that should have been definitely a follow-up on it.
Okay.
What was it any follow-up on that album? Was there a single?
it was a
Yeah, that was a single, but it just didn't get any play.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, a badass jam with two ridiculous bass players, and it doesn't get any airplay. That's kind of ridiculous.
You got three honorables? Go for it. You got Tim?
Okay, there we go. Funkadelic,
Yes, sir.
the most ridiculous funk record, the most ridiculous funk track of 1978, almost.
is that a part one or part two, or is that just one side?
Yeah, both part one on one side, part two on the other side. Yeah, that's what you gotta do with 10-minute songs.
Wait, so how does part two flow, if you don't mind? Does it come in with Take It to the Bridge? That
at the beginning of part two, you can hear, they get to How's Your Funk, and they start from there.
Oh,
wow. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, that's the dilemma.
Yeah.
10-minute records. You gotta,
Okay.
you can't, you shouldn't cut any record in half. But let's
Two
see.
more.
Parliament, Red Hot Mama from 1970, the very very first version on Invictus Records, which has the most ridiculous, most raw guitar.
Oh man.
I think any record has any P-Funk record has ever captured. The Eddie Hazel's guitar is way up front in the mix.
Yeah,
Totally
we didn't talk about Red Hot Mama today.
I'm sorry?
We didn't even talk about Red Hot Mama today.
I know, right?
Well, thank you. That'd be one of my honorable mentions. No.
And next one, like the one I mentioned before, which was Better by the Pound. This is on Westbound in Canada with the blue label without the psychedelic vomit that defines the American versions. So there you go.
All right. What do you got, Phil?
Man, I'm over here struggling, but I'm gonna go make it easy because I know we're short on time. So we didn't mention this one, but it was the last hoorah in my book, Agony of Defeat. I mean, that was another whole
monster.
I don't care what anybody says. I love that jam.
Oh, well, thank you. But I'm glad somebody does.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I'm just saying, man. It was, I was still funking, and folks were like, "Man, why are you listening to that still?" I'm like, "Man, get away from me. This is my fault. Leave me alone. It's Agony of Defeat." And it was a 12-inch version somewhere, right? That just kind of stretched it out. Also, going back in time, you can't miss what you can't measure.
Man,
because they use that bass line and do that stuff. And I can't believe no one mentioned. I know we said clones of Dr. Funkenstein, but do that stuff. Did anybody pick that one? No. Okay. So. Well, there you go. There you go.
That was the lead single right there. Yeah.
But and then the 45, like I think I mentioned when we were talking over each other or with each other, they cut that drum part short on the 45. So anyway.
All right, y'all. That wraps up our official choices for the top 5 Parliament-Funkadelics of all time. 20 altogether, plus 12 honorable mentions. So this is a time when y'all, if you got something to share, you got a final thought, you want to promote something real quick, let's go round robin and start with Rickey.
I'm on the radio Friday nights, 10 p.m. kpfa.org, 10 p.m. Pacific time Fridays, the history of funk. And as we inhabit the funk like everybody else here tonight. So, yeah, thank you, Scott. Happy to be here.
Thank you, Ricky. Tim, you got a final thought or anything you want to promote?
I just finished a new article. I've been writing for Culture Sonar, a website that does a lot of pop culture stuff, and I'm there right now. I've been operating as a resident funketeer for about 2 or 3 years. Go to Culture Sonar and you'll see my latest piece. I love writing about the funk. I love dancing to the funk. I like singing along to the funk. I love to see the funk live. I love archiving the funk. And I hope that what we do now in terms of laying down the legacy, I hope that, future generations are able to look at it and take something from it, even though they weren't there for the first, second, or third go rounds. At least we have what we put down as something of a official documentation of what really went down the first time. So hopefully, future generations will embrace this, and hopefully everyone will be on the one finally.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
Right on.
Hey, well, first of all, thanks, Scott, for having me on here, man. And to be in the presence of all you funk aficionados makes me feel good. We just started a thing we're about 10, maybe 11 episodes in on this thing called Funkin Around with PTFI and David Chaos. And it's growing, and I would love to just let y'all know you're all welcome. We like to talk about the funk because we are about the funk, and that's what we do. We get deep in between the cracks and the tracks of many different, maybe it's an older funk album or just anything when it comes to the funk. And then sometimes it's not even about the funk. We get on another tangent and take it another direction, but so far so good. We just got on Spotify and Apple Podcasts too, so it's starting to take off. And man, love to have each and every one of you on there, one at a time, because when it's all of us like this, it gets kind of rough and tough. But yeah, one at a time would be great. Right. So just throwing that out there. And that's what we're doing right now. So
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, he's right. Thank you, Scott, for bringing all of us together. We don't come together enough like this.
Yeah. Well, that's what, I'm trying to create a brotherhood, but also, I don't know if this is the right word because it's not a gender thing, but you know what I mean, for the Jam Fans Forum to help bring us all together and as one, like you're saying. So I want to, from my heart, thank all of you guys. Thank the viewers. Check out the description of this video for links to the songs that we talked about. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Drop your own personal choices for the top 5 Parliament-Funkadelic songs of all time into the comments. We want to see your picks too. Also, tell us what other categories you'd like to see covered on this show. And next time around, we'll reveal the picks for the top 5 Prince funk songs of all time. For now, as always, this is Scott, Dr. Jigs Goldfine, saying keep on vibrating to the rhythm of the one.
Everybody do your thing.
All right.
Bam.